right. And I'm in. And welcome to the live stream where we do it live. I'm Tony D, Little Joan. There's Little Joan. Say hi, Joan. Cute little thing. NYC, NZYC XX is already here. Are you going to be talking about Charlie Kirk? Yeah, we could talk about Charlie. I like Charlie. He seemed like a nice guy. It's a shame what happened. I was pretty mortified about the whole thing. Indie Phantom, did anyone go to the movies this weekend? Well, I'll tell you one movie they didn't go see. The Long Walk. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Somebody's internet history caught up to him. All right, Joan. You can sit over here. Stay in the damn stream for 10 seconds for once. Can you do that for me? I pay all the bills for you, little dog. Least you could do is be cute on the stream once in a while. You look kind of like a gremlin now with your haircut. Indie Phantom. Oh, wait. Blue Sky getting wrecked. Yeah, I saw that. I shed no tears for Blue Sky and its normal patrons. I'm on Blue Sky. I promote there, but I don't interact as a rule. It's a little too creepy. It's kind of like Twitter Reddit in its own way. Not quite as bad yet, but it's getting there. Jack Dorsey really has a lot to answer for, in my opinion. He should really, I don't know what he should do. I mean, he's got millions of dollars. If I were him, I'd just retire. I mean, how many times are you going to screw things up before you finally just go, you know what? I think I'll just go, I don't know, eat sushi and sit on the beach somewhere. And that's exactly what I think about Stephen King. Indie Phantom, good news. How crazy that both King and Hamill are in The Long Walk. I know. And it got wrecked. It's fourth this week. We're going to take a look at all the box office and the impact Charlie Kirk's having on it, which I think is mainly that. I'll just tell you briefly about my week. Joan, of course, got a haircut, and I went to Act 2 Books for Scary Story Fest yesterday. He spent a lot of money advertising it, and we had great weather, but the crowd was, it was a little low. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's just Flemington. I don't know. There was a detour nearby. Maybe that confused people. There was another event going on. And then today I did Lucille's Luncheonette, and I got a ticket on the way up. I also had to repair my air conditioner this weekend. So I kind of had a rough weekend. I really need some chocolate and a warm bath. But I'll soldier on. Indie Phantom. The Long Walk was originally a Bachman book. Was it a whole book? I think it was his first novel, right? I think it was. Let's get into it. Yeah, look at this crazy list of movies. This is the craziest list. The number one, of course, is the craziest. So some anime movie. I assume it's anime because it's called Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie, Infinity Castle. Yeah, why don't you just put the whole script in the title while you're at it? It did 70 million this week. Here it did 70 million. There are a lot of weebs in this country. Indie Phantom, okay, stoked for the box office now. I mean, look, this crazy movie. It's not really a movie, it's a cartoon, but 70 million? Are you kidding me? I had no idea this was that popular. I mean, I've heard of some anime being fairly popular and maybe could cross over. Maybe it's because of the title. Indie Phantom, not crazy about these animes taking over. Well, I'll tell you, Cowboy Bebop, very cinematic. Cowboy Bebop is so good. The guy who did that is just, he's just, man, he really knocks it out of the park with that thing. Um, Kira, of course, is a classic. That is a bad sign for entertainment, says Indie Phantom. It's a bad sign for American entertainment. In Japan, they made a hit Godzilla movie for $15 million, so they could do regular movies too. The Japanese haven't gone woke mostly. They just started importing more immigrants because they got pressured into it by some probably WEF funded organization run by a bunch of woke women in Japan, I'm sure. And now I believe the Prime Minister of Japan had to resign in shame. With ribbons of shame. Gung Ho, one of my faves. Or at least a favorite movie to... God, Joan, you stink. A favorite movie to quote. Indie Phantom, not the Netflix Cowboy Bebop. No. No, that was an abomination. I'm talking about the actual cartoon. And the soundtrack is off the charts. If you like any kind of jazz, they have this like jazzy soundtrack. Man, it's good. This I never heard of. I watched a couple episodes of Attack on Titan. That show's not bad. I used to watch Star Blazers. That was pretty good. That's about it for my anime. I'm not heavy into anime, but I could see the appeal. Indie Phantom, I hate the look of anime, the screaming mouths. Well, sometimes what it is, it's if you remember Speed Racer, right? Speed Racer, I always used to do. I did a comedy bit where I'd be like, "Hey, anybody watch the latest episode of Speed Racer? Speed, we must go around the track very fast, and if we don't get there, we'll lose the race." Oh, it's because like when they were translating Japanese into English, there some of the words would be really short, and they had to somehow like cover the character's mouth moving, and a lot of times they would just default to oh. So I think they default to screaming in anime if it's an exciting moment, because their mouths are often like, and I don't know why. I don't speak a lot of Japanese. I had a friend who was so obsessed with anime back in college. He was doing some of the early subtitling just for fun because he had access to the videos and the equipment. So he had like stuff from Japan, and then he would just do it himself, for other fans. Indie Phantom, I watched Star Blazers and Cowboy Bebop. Some of the style is cool, but $70 million bucks? I know. This doesn't even look that cool, but apparently it's got a fan base. It also may be true that there's just, the people who want to see movies are now getting desperate. Maybe they got to the point where, well, especially younger, I would say this probably skews pretty young, right? You got to think this is mostly girls and like teenagers. I could see teenagers getting sort of stoked for this. And if your teenage girlfriend wants to go see anime, you take her, right? If you're a teenage guy. So I don't think back in the day I would have been totally against this, unless this sucks. I mean, it's called Demon Slayer. It sounds kind of cool. Indie Phantom, it reeks of desperation. Well, the question is, whose desperation? Is it the movie theaters? Is it the distributor? Well, it's Sony Pictures. What else they got? They're not putting out... I mean, adults aren't going to see movies. It's kids, so maybe this is a way to get some kids in the seat. So, I don't know. In its second week is The Conjuring, dropping 69%. Oof, that is not good. That is no bueno for The Conjuring. Didn't conjure up an audience for your second week, but it already made its money, it looks like. 332 million on a movie that cost 55 million. That's money. That is money in the bank. So who cares? This thing could plummet from here on in. I don't think these guys would care. So that's money. That's a little bit of good news. And it'll probably do okay in Halloween. Indie Phantom, isn't it an old movie too? Well, it's the fourth. It's the last of... it's the fourth movie. There were 3 other Conjuring movies, and this is the last one. That's why it's called Last Rites, and that's why in this picture you have... Oh, no, I guess there's not 4 heads. It's just this one, and I don't know what that is. Is that somebody else's head up top? I thought it was 4. So, it's still in a lot of theaters. I don't know. Maybe it's because the people who wanted to see it in theaters ran out and saw it, right? And then the people who still want to see it but didn't go to the first week, they're just like, catch it on streaming. Not Conjuring the anime. Oh. Yeah, it has to be... The Demon Slayer is at least a little old. Let's see. I'll go to the IMDb. I gotta cut and paste this one. Jesus. See when this came out. Oh, no. I can't play that. What the hell? What the hell, man? Well, that was nearly a problem. All right, let's see. Let's see if there's any info on this thing. Game Rant. Looks like they've got like 2 sequels to this movie already. So yeah, this looks pretty old. Let me try to... If I can get Demon Slayer movies. Okay. Yeah, there are other movies. A lot of these movies. 2019, 2020. 2020, 2021, 2021, 2023. Holy crap. And 2024. So yeah, it's none of these. It must be the latest wait, it looks like this looks like the movie poster here. I don't know. Got a lot of these damn movies. JEC is here. Hi, JEC. Here, Jones, sit over here. You're too hot. I can't have you on my lap the whole show. Clint Miller's here. Hello. Yeah, you don't have to do that, Clint. You don't have to do what JEC is doing, but that's pretty funny you did it. Now somebody else has to come in and go, bonjour. Clint Miller, warming up the crab cakes. What's up with that? Indie Phantom, more embarrassing for studios. Well, that's for sure. I guess, Sony's making the money. So it's, at least they're making money off of it. It's a smart play. Although Sony continues to go pretty woke, I think. But 70 million's not that big a deal. I don't even know they thought this would be #1. I mean, this is September 12th. It's not exactly a dead time for movies. You're coming off the summer. It's still pretty warm. Now, the kids have gone back to school. So that does sort of put a damper on it. But some people are still out and about, especially on the weekends. So... but number 3 is a TV show movie, Downton Abbey, the grand finale, Was this on TV as well? Is this just the last couple of episodes? Let's see. Let's go back to IMDb. Abbey, the grand finale. No, I guess they just made this. So this is like an extra movie. I mean, this is a smart move. Indie Phantom says F Downton Abbey. Women love this stuff. Oh yeah, they love it. I have no interest in Downton Abbey. I tried to watch an episode just to kind of figure out what it was, and like 10 minutes into it, I was like, holy Jesus, is this the show? A bunch of like stuffy Victorian characters going, oh my, you can't do that. Well, you can't do that. Well, we can do nothing. Well, let's just sit here and be polite. All right. I mean, it's just nuts. It's a soap opera is what it is. But this is a smart move. I've called for this for years, that, you know, TV shows should, by design, if they're popular enough, build it to a movie. Certain shows. I mean, obviously not all hit shows would be a good movie. JC, hat prawn. Yeah, it's definitely a clothing prawn too, like the wardrobes and the fashion. All right, Jim. You're determined to ruin the show, so I'll let you go. All right, get out of here. God. Filbert Coffee Esquire is here. It wasn't Victorian era. Oh. What era was it? I know they had cars, right? I guess that's after Victorian era. It just sort of looks that way. Indie Phantom. Abbey was based on Gosford Park. I don't know what that is. I assume it's a book. Filbert Coffee Esquire. Downton took place after World War I. Okay. So, what era is that? I guess it's the still an Empire era, or giving up the Empire portion of that. JC, Edwardian? Edwardian, isn't that earlier? Or, wait, no. Which? King Edward, right? Was there King Edward during that time? Would have been before Elizabeth. I don't follow royalty. Filbert will know. Indie Phantom. Dexter could do a decent movie, especially with how the recent season ended. What a setup. JC, Elizabeth's dad? I guess it would have been him, or do I have to go further back than that? Because Elizabeth was right around World War II, right? So, Indie Phantom. Gosford Park was a big Robert Altman film. Oh. Filbert, just after Edwardian. Oh. JC, or was Edward her grandfather? I think grandfather then. So, yeah, it just looks boring. I mean, that stuff to me is boring. I mean, I'm not a total Philistine, but Jesus, I can't sit through that. Edwardian was 1900 to 1910, Bing says. Filbert, interwar Britain period. Oh, okay. So, after Edwardian, but before the big war. Yeah, so I'm not surprised. I mean, that show, again, Hollywood just seems to be... Filbert, I would have watched it, but it was too woke for me. It's woke, too? Well, I'm not surprised. That was solidly aimed at women, that whole show. And, I mean, it's really just a soap opera. And, that seems to be Hollywood's obsession these days. Anything for a female audience, they will put right on the screen. No waiting. Oh, women? Sure. I mean, I guess some women are still going to theaters by themselves. I guess. I can't imagine my girlfriend attempting to drag me to this movie. I just can't even imagine. Downton Abbey? I'd be like, Downton Abbey. I think I'd rather see anything else. But I don't think, I don't know if we ever talked about that show. I don't know if she's a fan. I don't think so. But we did watch Weapons, and I did a review of it. We were underwhelmed. Yeah. I think it got a little oversold to me. I was super stoked for it, but it had some cool scenes. I mean, I love witches. And it was sort of a step up from most witch movies, other than the Witch, the movie called The Witch. That's a really good witch movie. But that one was sort of like, it was almost a kid's movie in some respects. The way it sort of played out in some respects, it was so silly. The Witch was kind of ridiculous looking. It wasn't scary at all, except in like one or two shots. But for most of the thing, I was just like, "That's the Witch." Yeah, no thanks. But I did a whole video on it. If you want to hear my 2-bit opinion on that. Okay, and now here we are at number 4. This is a Stephen King movie premiering. I believe it's the lowest premiering Stephen King movie in 33 years. The Long Walk. I did not want to see this movie at all, and I've already said on the internet I'll refuse to see it after his stupid comments on X. I don't want to see it at all, though. I think it sounds stupid. I saw the trailer. Looks terrible to me. But more than that, Mark Hamill's in it, and he's annoyed me too many times. You know, I could take a little bit of flack from some celebrities if they said one or two things. I mean, there's a ratio there, right? Like, they're all liberal morons, half of them, or 90% of them. But, like, some of them aren't as vocal. And then maybe you got some really good project, and you kind of go, well, I'll overlook it this time. Mark Hamill, man, he exhausts me. And he's not even on X anymore. He's on Blue Sky, and I still see his post. And you just go, dude, you're a millionaire. I don't understand these people. Stephen King, too. Stephen King is worth $500 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth. Now, he's not worth $500 million like he's got $500 million on hand. But, you know, if you add up all his assets and his houses, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million. Probably. Certainly he can buy a car and pay cash for it, or go on vacation for a month and think nothing of it. Like nothing of it. He could literally eat in any restaurant in the world he wants to. Go to any place he wants to. If he needs security, he can hire security, even if he goes to some place that's not particularly safe. He could, I mean, think of all the things you could do if you were just that rich. It would be nuts. You would never, ever have to worry about debt. Oh, you'd never have to worry about debt. That would just be so far in the rear view for you if you had that kind of money. So your main problem, as I see it, is you're so rich. Like, how many of your relatives do you help? How many of, like, people write you letters and emails? Like, how many of them can you stop yourself from helping before your accountant's like, dude, you can't help everybody in the world. You know. Like, why wouldn't you just, I don't know, go on vacation? I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I'm like King in that I'm a writer, right? I would just be like, oh, great, I have all this money. I'd probably design my dream house. I'm sure he's already done that like 10 times, gotten bored of it and done it another time. You know, I'd have cars, plural. I mean, you know, that's it. Isn't that enough? I'd be able to shower riches on my family at any time I wanted. JC, they might be counting the value of his IP portfolio. Sure, but he's still gotta be insanely rich. He still has to have more money than he could possibly spend. JC, King was always too normie cringe for me. Like, what's the appeal for a guy like him to go on X at all? Like, why get on the internet at all? I'd be too busy. You wouldn't see me. You'd be like, wow, I used to follow Tony D. He hasn't done a stream in like 5 years. That's the kind of stuff you'd be saying. And then once in a while I'd do one and it would just be like, I don't know, maybe I'd give away prizes. I don't know. Because I could. I'd give away autographed books and just... And then I'd hire a guy to do all the work. I wouldn't do it. I'd have like my assistant. Oh yeah, give JEC a run of my books. Yeah, just send it out. All right, you just email the thing and Helmut will send it to you. That's my imaginary assistant, by the way. Helmut. He's a German national that lives in my basement, and I don't pay him anything, so he eats comic books. That was like a running gag I had for a while. But yeah, I would do something like that. I mean, I'd have an actual guy who I would pay. JC, he can't stop writing in general. Look at how many books he's written. Yeah. Although someone had pitched the rumor that he's not actually writing those books. He's actually paying to have them ghostwritten. And that he sort of... It's sort of like what painters or comic book guys do. When they get super popular, they take on a lot of work, right? And so you build a studio. And then you're doing like, I don't know, 2 or 3 comics, let's say a month. And then you have a team of guys who are doing most of the work. And then you come in and like do the touches that make it look like your art. And you train the guys to draw like you. It's a similar thing for writers, I've heard, at that high level. But I've never seen any evidence of it. And of course, you would be sworn to secrecy if anyone did anything like that. Filbert. And none of them good. Oh, that's mean. That's mean. I mean, his writing is very straightforward, which I like. But I wouldn't give him a dime now. I mean, I read Pet Sematary. It was fine. It was okay. I wasn't like scared. But it was entertaining. I think I read Christine, maybe. And that was about it. Indie Phantom, how much did this turkey lose? Well, that's the question. How much is it going to lose? It made 11.5 million, but it was projected at 20. And, well, the production budget is pretty low at 20 million. So that doesn't seem like it's going to have any problem at least breaking even. So, well, next week, 6 million, put you at 17, maybe 20 by then. Got to make another 20 million. It's probably going to lose money. Probably going to lose money. I mean, next week it should be 6. That puts it at 17, and then during the week you might get another 3, so 20, let's say. The week after it'll be another 3 million. Dump another, I don't know, say 2 million for the sake of argument. That puts it at 25. The weekend after might do a mil. That's at 26. You might get another mil during the week. That's 27. I don't know if this is going to get overseas distribution. Okay, it's getting some, it appears. So we don't have the numbers on that. I would imagine the international numbers would at least make this a break-even situation. It only has to get to 50 million. It'll be tight, but I think it'll do it. Filbert, what classic literature was written in the last 50 years? I do enjoy Kurt Vonnegut. I don't know if his stuff will be considered classics in 50 years, although some of it Some of it has. I guess Slaughterhouse 5. I'm not sure when that was written. That might have been beyond the 50-year mark you're putting in. I do enjoy Hunter S. Thompson. I don't know if any of his stuff will be considered a classic. Ways to cut corners. It depends on how big they are. I mean, we're talking like back in the, you know, 90s when comics were hot and they were trying to crank them out. And it was, you know, computers were there, but they weren't doing a lot. Now you would just use computers to beef up your production output. But yeah, I mean, that's one way. Guys to fill in the blacks and things like that. Indie Phantom, is it backlash or people just weren't interested? I don't know. I heard a lot of people talking about this movie. I know my girlfriend wanted to see it. I don't know if she still wants to see it now that it's sort of tanked. I think it's a bad premise. It's too much of an allegory to be, and it's an old one too. It was about the Vietnam War. So I think this is probably just partly, number one, I don't think it was a good adaptation to pick. Maybe at the height of Stephen King's career, you could have adapted this. When would that have been? I don't know. Like 20 years ago? Then maybe. Because it would have been, oh, another Stephen King movie. But definitely the thing that he said on X definitely hurt him. He should not have accused Charlie Kirk of anything. Charlie Kirk was always very smart about what he said and how he debated. He wasn't one of these guys who was like, you know, some idiot right-wing nut job who said a bunch of hardcore religious stuff just for attention and then backtracked on it later. He wasn't like that. He stayed pretty consistent. He was a young guy. He didn't have a long pile of baggage in his past at all. So I think he'd only been doing this kind of, I mean, the debate stuff, what was it? He started doing it, you know, at the beginning of the Trump admin. So maybe he'd been doing it for like 10 years. And then prior to that, he was, I mean, James O'Keefe tells a story about meeting him while he was 18 when he was just starting out. Guy was only 31, so he only had about 13 years to build up his TPUSA. Filbert, I'm shocked anyone goes to the movies at all anymore. Yeah. It's such a terrible experience. I mean, there's everything against it. You know? It just really is. JC, Slaughterhouse was 69. Okay, yeah, so it's too early. JC, Vonnegut himself said the only one of his books good enough to enter the English literary canon was Slaughterhouse 5. Breakfast of Champions is pretty good. Indie Phantom. Height would be 40 years, I would say. 40 years. So you're talking 85? Maybe you should have done this instead of Maximum Overdrive. JEC. Although I liked Maximum Overdrive, it should have just been more of a comedy. I think it would have been better as a comedy. Kind of like a horror comedy. You could make an argument for Bret Easton Ellis, maybe, or David Foster Wallace. I don't know. I haven't read any of their books, I don't think. Who's, God, I can't think of authors now. I'm a little fried from sitting out in the sun today. Oh, gosh. I can't think of his name. It's the guy who used to work in the post office. and he was writing books on the side. He wrote like crazy. God, what the hell was his name? I think he's dead now. Filbert Coffey, Esquire. Kirk was middle conservative. The far right thought he was a complete joke. Yeah, but he was a nice guy. Like he didn't have all this baggage, and so Stephen King slandering him, I don't know what he was thinking. My guess would be that he just assumed, since like a lot of, unfortunately, liberals today, they just assume, well, everybody on that side of the aisle is a transphobe and a homophobe and a racist, right? So I can assume he said something like that at one point in his life. So it's no big deal if I say that. He was very wrong. Now, like, somebody canceled one of his, I don't know if it was his book or like a reprint of one of his books. Like one publishing house is mad at him and they killed whatever project's there. JC, if anything, Kirk came off as baby neocon type character. Bluebeard was my favorite Vonnegut. That's a pretty good one. It's been years. I read them all, I think. Except for maybe God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater. I think that's the only one I didn't read. But it's been so long. Indie Phantom, Maximum Overdrive is fun schlock. Yeah, I think that's Emilio Estevez too, right? JC, Charles Bukowski. Yeah, maybe Charles Bukowski? Some of his stuff? That's who I was thinking of. Thank you. God, I got to keep you guys on the phone with me when I'm walking around. So when I don't remember stuff, I can have you right there, like checking things. You know what I need? I need to create an AI based on your responses. Wouldn't that be cool? So I can walk around and have the chat with me all the time in case I need to figure something out that I forgot. Yeah, so this really, in my mind too, like, The Long Walk is not a concept that could sustain 90 minutes or 2 hours or whatever it is. It would have probably worked as if they did like a Stephen King sort of creep show type movie. And The Long Walk was one of the stories. Like maybe you do 3 or 4 of them and do something to tie it all together. That would have been kind of cool. JC, Rosewater is okay. Ties into a lot of his other books. Yeah, I don't know why I never read that one. And then there's a Kilgore Trout book he wrote, which I believe I read. That's one of Vonnegut's characters, if you don't know. He's a crazy science fiction writer who's very broke, and a lot of his science fiction ends up as filler in porn magazines or prawn magazines. Sorry, YouTube. JC, I feel like Bukowski peaked in the 70s? I don't know. I don't think I've ever read Bukowski. I'm just sort of taking a stab at who might be remembered. Part of the problem is, at least in America, no one reads. And believe me, I know that firsthand. But I had a few victories this week, even though I had a rough weekend. One was, one of my fans told me, like, I have a lot of fans who say, I don't really read, but I try to read your books, because they're literally like, a lot of them are like blue collar guys who just, they're not in the mode of like reading. They just don't feel weird. I guess they feel weird about making the time to read. So one guy was like, oh, my girlfriend went to college. I had her read it to me. So he had his girlfriend reading my book to him, which I thought was pretty funny. And, but there's so many people, they'll come to my table and they'll, JC, slapstick? I don't really like slapstick. It's okay. Yeah, I don't know. Indie Phantom, am I supposed to take Mark Hamill seriously as some tough guy? Yeah, he is not a tough guy. He wouldn't have been a tough guy back in the day. He's supposed to be like some general. Totally miscast. Never would have casted him in that role. I saw The Machine, which was a comedy movie starring Brent, or Bart. I forget his name. No, Bert Kirshner, I think his name is. He's a comedian. And Hamill plays his dad. And I didn't really... This was kind of before Hamill completely went on unglued. And it looked so funny, I had to watch it. He's okay in that, but kind of obnoxious. I kind of didn't like him by the end. So maybe, in that kind of role, he was okay. But yeah, as a general who kills teenagers, yeah, I don't really see that. There's plenty of other actors who play those roles. They're usually muscular, bald guys who, they're hard asses, and you could see them being generals. Filbert, I think writers today write for the LCD, or they are at low level themselves. LCD? Indie Phantom. Oh yeah, I wanted to see The Machine. It was fun. Most of the funny scenes are in the trailer, but there's a few more, and Bert makes it fun. The funniest scene is in the trailer, or in the extended trailer. Indie Phantom, casting for The Long Walk seems to be politically motivated. I wouldn't be surprised. But then again, I don't feel that Stephen King participates much in his movies anymore, but maybe. JC, Slapstick reads like it was written by Kilgore? That's not the Kilgore one, is it? I don't think so. Indie Phantom, yeah, role for Stephen Lang. Yeah, he's pretty good in those roles. Although, for me, it doesn't totally work, because I always remember Stephen Lang from Police Story, where he played like a completely different character. So I always see him and go, there's the guy from the Police Story. JC, I mean, Mark is like 5'3", wouldn't work as a general. He's just not mean. He played every boy, like he played a guy with boyish good looks. He's Luke Skywalker, for crying out loud. He can't be mean. It just... Filbert Coffee Esquire, lowest common denominator. Sorry, I am very fried from today, I believe. I should have gotten that one. Writers today write for the lowest common denominator. It's pretty low. Like, I thought I was sort of a, average schmo writing books for the average guy. But, yeah, when I hear about some of the stuff that's being read, like romancy stuff, like a lot of it's for women. And it's all very gross, and it's just porn. Prawn. It's verbal prawn. Or reading prawn. It's like, and I ghost wrote some of it, so there's that, but I just did it for the money. I don't know. Is everybody doing that? I mean, I kind of, on the one hand, I kind of regret it, but on the other hand, I really needed the money at the time. Got me through a year. I almost thought, this is going to be what I'm going to do for a while. And I was actually making plans to buy a new car, because I was making money hand over fist for a little while there. And then it just all dried up. Indie Phantom Crime Story. That's it. Brilliant series. Yeah, it's really good. Dennis Farina is the main guy. But Stephen Lang was in it, and he was really good in that too. But he was a much different character. He wasn't like the hard ass. He was more of like the smart guy who was he was on the team, but then I think he gets corrupted, right? JC, I don't think Kilgore was ever the main character. Breakfast of Champions was the most Kilgore heavy book that he wrote. Right, but then there was a book that he put out that Kilgore, I think, actually wrote. And it says written by Kilgore Trout on it. Filbert, average readers from our time are genius level today. It's kind of like Idiocracy, in a way. But I think for the most part, because so many books are terrible, and this is true across a lot of our media, because it's all about, partly about an agenda, often political, but not necessarily, and then money to just, shoot it on out there and get people's money and then disappear. You have books that go out, and the publishers are kind of just ruthless, money-grubbing a-holes in a lot of respects. And then the ones that aren't don't really have enough money or influence or power to do much. So, I've seen books being put out there, but a lot of them are all the same. And, part of it's this whole idea, right? They push people into colleges who don't really belong there. They should probably not be in college. It's not that they're stupid. It's just they're not college level smart. And there's not enough jobs for people, as we see now, there's not enough jobs of people coming out of like colleges for them to do it. They're midwits. And there used to be a lot of office jobs, and now they're all going away. So the smart people are getting into trades where you can do your own deal and whatnot. So I feel like books kind of went that way in some respects. Besides it all going to women, you had these people getting into books and writing books who really had no business writing them. And they're just not good. And now it's even easier to publish the books. So they're everywhere. You got to be really dedicated, I feel, to write some good books. And I feel like the people I meet, sometimes they're not. They're dilettantes, and they wrote a book, and that's fine. And they're going to promote it for a few weeks, get bored, and then go do something else. JC, I mean, slapstick is like the plot of a Kilgore story. Oh, yeah. I've wanted to do a video game where I make a tier list of Vonnegut's books. What would be the object of the game? Would it be like set in his world? Would it be like a sandbox with all the characters from his world? Because that would be kind of cool. I would buy that game. I think it would be a very narrow band of fan, but Filbert, 100 years ago, kids learned Latin in high school. Now they learn remedial English in college. Well, this brings us to another big topic, which and stop me if I go on too long about this, but James Lindsay has once again been on X saying we have to fix the school system, and he's very, very right on that score. And I've been pretty vocal about that myself because I worked in the school system briefly, and you could see it that quick. Like, if you ever decide to do what I did, which I was a substitute teacher for a while, just to make some quick bank, you will quickly see just how bad it is in a school. And now I haven't done it I think I did it like 10 years ago a couple of times. It was fine those couple of times, but before that, like, I think it was in the 90s and 2000, even back then, it was horrific. You see the sort of stuff the kids are supposed to learn, and like, you read it and you go, is this for babies? Like, it's really low level stuff because they're constantly, I think, teaching to the lowest common denominator in the room, right? So like, it's the dumbest kid of the class that everybody has to learn at his rate. and there's no accountability amongst the students and the teachers. The teachers are pushed to get these kids out of school, I think. And I had a problem with one class that was the sub for, and I kicked the kid out of class, and he came back, and I couldn't believe they sent him back because he was just being incredibly disruptive. And later, I got called down to the vice principal's office, and I was like, this kid was disrupting the class. And I like couldn't believe, and he called me down, and I'm just like, he was disrupting the class. And the VP actually turned to me and said, well, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, what do I want you to do? I want you to kick him out of the school. Like, send him home. Why do I have to deal with him? And like, he was just like, oh no, I don't want to do that. His parents will be in here yelling at us, basically. And it was like, I'm telling you, the kid's disruptive in class, and that's like, well, that's your problem, kind of thing. And now I was a sub, and they weren't gonna, back me out. It wasn't like I was in the union or anything, but that's what these teachers are doing, kind of behind the scenes. So you can imagine, like, the teacher, getting pressured in the same sort of way, like, well, that's your problem, work with them or whatever. But beyond that, they're teaching them Marxism. They're not teaching them. So Lindsay will spell it out in some of his videos if you ever watch New Discourses. JC, I didn't say game, I just said video for YouTube. Oh, okay. A video where I tier list of Vonnegut's book. Oh, okay. I don't know why I read it that way. Still, it would be a cool video game. I mean, most of Vonnegut's books, this is JEC, take place in a shared universe. Could do a game set in a town called Breakfast of Champions in Rosewater, town that Breakfast of Champions in Rosewater is based in. Try and stop it from getting blown up. Yeah, that would be cool. Filbert, I sub 2. They expect open book tests now. Yeah, that was me back in the 90s. I had to give a Spanish midterm, and the teacher gave me instructions, but he didn't tell me it was an open book test. And I assumed, oh, it's a test. You can't have your books out. And I had to deal with a mutiny in the class because the kids were like freaking out. And I thought it was my responsibility to enforce, basic sort of testing principles. I thought, oh, they're just telling me that so they can use their books and I'll score an A. And then I'll get in trouble because I screwed up. No, it was the reverse. It turned out, yes, of course they get an open test exam. And I should not care one whit and trust the students and listen to them. Why the F would you trust a teenager? So I had nothing, well, I shouldn't say I had nothing but problem substituting, but I did have a couple of problems like that where I would just be like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you doing this? Now, Lindsay maps out how Paulo Freire, a South American socialist, basically created the current system that most teachers labor under, trying to teach their class. But really what they end up doing is teaching them how to protest, right? So, and how to make everything a problem. So, for instance, they'll give a math problem, like a train's going 70 miles an hour this way, and then another train's going 50 miles an hour that way. When will they meet, kind of thing. But like, they train you not to ask the solution or train kids for the solution. They train you to ask questions that are sort of vaguely political, so there a discussion erupts, about how, well, some people on this train are going faster because they paid more money and have more means than the people on this train. Like stuff like that. So it's basically Marxism being taught to the students, which is why you have the horrific incident with Charlie Kirk, because as it goes up the chain in the school system And it gets to colleges, and some of these colleges, as we've all seen online, they're just outright commies, some of these college professors. Now, when I was in school, you had some of that going on. It was the mid 80s. It had only just started percolating. But the sort of communism was the sort of stuff we used to just laugh at it. It would be like, it would be like the women's socialist film perspective would be on campus, and no one would go to it except the same three feminist girls who always went to that crap. We would just laugh at it. I made a joke about it in my stand-up. But now, it's a real problem because the Marxists took over, and they're pushing this stuff night and day. That's why you had all these Columbian University protests and getting completely out of hand. They're radicalizing these students, and I think that the Kirk's assassin was radicalized by his school, and really they should be looking at the professors that taught him as well as people who helped him. Because if it's true he was radicalized by that, I think they have some accountability towards the murder. But a lot of it's on Reddit. I mean, Reddit is just an absolute cesspool of commie nonsense, and it's everywhere. It's in every subreddit now. I go to the South Jersey subreddit to promote the Pineys, and I have to sort of get in under the radar and then get right out before anybody starts getting political. The one time somebody was talking about something going on locally in local politics, and it immediately turned right into Antifa stuff and arguing. Indie Phantom had some bad sub experiences back in the day. I was reprimanded for telling a kid to shut up. Kid was literally flying off the handle and totally disruptive. VP just lectured me and wrote me up. Not to mention how damn woke they were. Subs were treated like homeless people by both staff and students. Was subbing in some pretty bad schools at the time. I kind of feel ya. Now, I was not in really bad schools. I was at my local schools that I attended. Some of these teachers knew me. And I got fired from my junior high and my senior high. Well, the first time I did it back in the 90s. I got fired at the junior high for the Spanish midterm disaster. And then I got fired at the senior high because I just wrote assignment was lame in the comments section, commenting on the teacher's assignment, and he got mad. And I can't blame him on that one because I wasn't thinking when I wrote that, but the assignment was really lame. Like, he left generic assignments from every one of his classes. He had he taught like history, American history, and then he had a European history class, and he left them all the same assignment. And I was just like, why did he leave the same assignment? I didn't really understand. I could maybe change the assignment if I wanted to, and probably would have gotten in less trouble for doing that. But, eventually I figured it out and I went back there. But it just was, you didn't feel any kind of support from the staff. You were just kind of like there. While at the same time, they were constantly short on substitute teachers. Wonder why. And then after COVID, forget it. There's no way I'd go back. Not after COVID. I didn't sub while COVID was going on, but there was no way I can go into the damn school because they'll want me to get the shot. So screw that. Indie Phantom, LOL, I would love to write that to a teacher. Yeah, well, it got me fired, so I just, at the time when I wrote it, I didn't see it as an insult. That's the way I talked. Oh, that was lame. Yeah, assignment was lame. Like, I just felt I was like, telling him information that the class felt. And, but I didn't realize he would, take it as an insult, which, looking back on it, I'm like, yeah. Indie Phantom, yeah, nobody wanted to sub, and they were pretty desperate. Oh, yeah, they're super desperate for subs these days. Gee, I wonder why. You need to get a shot. I don't know if the shot thing is a factor now. It's probably done. But, back in the day, all you had to do was get a physical, That was mandatory to make sure you were fit enough to go. And then you had to do send in your fingerprints to the FBI, and they would do a background check on you, which I don't even know if they ever did. But not that I had anything, but I heard rumors. I mean, there were all sorts of stories all the time about guys who would, sign up as a substitute teacher, and it turned out they had a record as long as their arm, but like nobody found out until they did something else at the school. But yeah, like now I wouldn't even do it. I mean, the classrooms are a horror show. They're just a horror show. And with the kids already radicalized, and you have no power. Like, you have no power to discipline them. When I was in school, I kind of feared the teachers a little bit. I feared that they would call my parents. I feared that they would punish me by giving me a detention or, extra work or whatever. But, I was a good student. I wanted to get a decent grade and whatever. These kids don't have that fear. The grades mean nothing. The classwork means nothing. They're teaching them to complain because they're teaching them to be Marxist. They teach them, part of the Paulo Freire school says that the teacher isn't just teaching the students are teaching the teacher. Which is insane, because they're idiots, and the students should not be teaching you anything. They're morons. I mean, think back to when you were a kid. I don't think I had much to teach my English teacher when I was in 8th grade. I mean, she was kind of a B, if I'm thinking of the right one. I had a good one. No, wait, 8th grade? Was it 8th or 9th? I had this one teacher. Man, she hated me. Yeah, I mean, like, I had nothing to teach the teachers. What are you, out of your mind? What am I going to teach them? So it's this weird woke idea of like, oh, well, you might have a student in your classroom who's from a minority background and therefore has all this to teach you. What? Why would a child have anything to teach a grown adult who is responsible for them? It doesn't make any sense. It's Marxist BS. It should be completely ignored. Instead, they're training teachers to do it all the time. Now, there are exceptions. I know that in my district, there's like one school. It's like a higher end school. I guess the rich kids are going there. I subbed at that. They didn't deal with any bunk, man. The kids were great. They'd do anything you said. But the regular school, oh my God, it was like prison. I walked into one school. It was brand new. They had lunchroom tables like it was prison. So like in prison, the tables are connected to the floor, and then the benches are part of the table. That's the kind of benches that were in this school for the cafeteria. I thought, this looks like a prison. Like, it really looked like a prison. Like, back when I was in school, we used to joke that the school looked like a prison because we did have bars on the windows. Because they had a problem back in the 70s with people breaking in and graffitiing the walls. If they had locked the doors, they wouldn't have had that problem. But anyhow, eventually they removed those bars because people used to complain about it all the time. But this was a brand new school. And so they built the cafeteria. It looked like something on lockup. Except, they weren't in prison outfits. So it's bad. And because it's bad, these kids have learned nothing other than to complain and, hope that they can be influencers on the internet and make a bunch of money where they'll waste it because they're idiots. So one time I was subbing for a class, and I thought, let me teach these kids something, because there was nothing there and I had to talk to them. So I said, hey, let's play, a game. It wasn't really a game, but I was just like, what do you guys what do you think things cost, was sort of the game. And so I was trying to explain to them what things actually cost in the real world versus your job. And so we were doing the math on the board, like how much money you'd have to make every month just to live. And this was a while ago, so I think the number I came up with was like 2,500 a month or something. And we did the math, and the kids were like appalled that first off that they would have to make, they thought $2,500. Oh my God, I'll be rich. And then I was like, no, you won't. And then, we started subtracting taxes and rent and food and stuff. And then they were just like, oh my God. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I used to do as a sub. I don't know if it helped anybody, but what really saddened me one day is when I was a substitute for the art teacher, and I went in there and I was like, hey, I was teaching them how to make comic books because I was in my web comic phase. And they were like, oh, this is fun. We normally learn out of a book. And I was just like, you guys learn out of a book for the art class? They're like, yeah. I thought that was so sad. They were teaching art and like they weren't actually doing any of it. They were just like, I don't know, reading a book and regurgitating it. It was very sad. Anyhow, getting back to the movies. So The Long Walk is probably going to be done next week, but we'll see. I don't think, it'll probably break even with the international money, but who knows? Maybe not. Maybe they'll just take it out of theaters and that'll be the end of it. Number 5, Toy Story's back in theaters. Okay, 3.5 million. The 5th most popular movie came out a long time ago. What was that? It's like a while ago. Did okay. 3.5 million for a movie that old. Number 6 is Weapons, dropping from 3 to 6. This is in its 6th week. It did really well. 259 million for a movie that cost 38 million. So that's good to go. That's money in the bank. Again, I think it was just overrated. I know some of you guys liked it. I don't know. JC, 30 years? It's been 30 years since the first Toy Story? Holy crap. Why did I have it only... Wait a minute. Oh, that's weekends. So that's weeks. So it's been over 1,500 weeks. Holy cow. 30-year-old movie makes 3.5 million. Weapons can't even stand up to it at 2.7. Yeah, Weapons is kind of ridiculous. The Witch is kind of ridiculous to me. I wasn't scared of her at all. Except for maybe 1 or 2 shots. Filbert Coffee Esquire. Tony, are you going to cover the worst dressed at the Emmy Awards? We can. JC, Toy Story was 95. Yeah, that's no problem. I'm sure there's a link here somewhere. I got the trades all lined up. Number 8. Oh, skipped 1. Number 7 was Hamilton, dropping from 2 to 7. A 78% drop. Good. Good. 2.2 million. I hope this thing tanks. 14 million. Yeah. No idea what this costs. Probably costs nothing. I mean, how hard is it to shoot a restaged musical? Filbert, it's on Daily Mail. All right. Yeah, well, we'll stop over for that. No problem. Number 8, dropping from 4, Freakier Friday, 2.1 million in its 6th week. This did pretty good, I think. 140 million for a $42 million movie. Yeah, that's money. Yeah, it did all right. I wouldn't say it. You couldn't pay me to see that. Oh my God, this came out. Filbert, some people probably think Hamilton is historical fact. Oh, God forbid. God forbid. Did he actually sing that way? Number 9 is Spinal Tap 2. The End Continues. 1.6 million. Oof. Oofa. That is no bueno. For a movie that cost what, I wonder? Production budget, 22 million. It is done. Yeah, you're not going to come back from that. 22 million and you only made 1.6 million its opening weekend. Done, cooked. Next week, maybe a crack 2 million. And then after that, it's done. Might as well take it out of theaters. It's a shame. JC off ninth. Indie Phantom Spinal Crap. Good to see Reiner fall. Yeah. Talk about another big mouth. He at least smartened up enough not to say the normal stuff he says right when his movie drops. Stephen King. But I'm a little sad, actually, because I was a huge fan of Spinal Tap when it came out, but they made this movie they could have made this movie 20 years ago. It would have probably done well. JC, people are done with these legacy sequels 30 years too late. Yeah, this is way too late for this. These guys are way past their prime. They look old and tired. Someone give them a cup of coffee. They looked like they were exhausted rockers who completely peaked years ago. Maybe not Harry Shearer. Harry Shearer brought a little energy, but man, McKeon and Christopher Guest, they look tired. Indie Phantom Spinal Crap looked like a streaming sequel at best. Yeah, and Rob Reiner all over it didn't help. I mean, he's just too divisive. He's been way worse than King. You might as well have Alyssa Milano shoot the damn movie. I mean, he has been non-stop. This is a guy who's, as comedic legacy, his father Carl, was a hilarious dude. He continued in that a little, but man, he just wouldn't stop. He just wouldn't stop. You knew it was bad when South Park did a very good episode with him. And, again, South Park, they've blasted it because of their attacks against Trump and Charlie Kirk. But Charlie Kirk liked the episode, by the way. Indie Phantom, Reiner, and King go way back. JC, Meathead was annoying political takes. Has annoying political takes, huh? Yes. Meathead was really Meathead, as it turns out. But it was just sad to see it. It felt like, it was just exhausting after a while. It was like, dude, do they have pictures of you somewhere? A film with you and a donkey? Shut up. Who does this much work to make people dislike him? And that's the sad thing. A lot of these people think, oh, I'm going to get on the internet and I'm going to champion our cause. They genuinely believe there's a bunch of people behind them. And again, this all goes back to what the internet is. And right now what it is a nonstop machine of getting people to hate each other. The CCP and the Russians and the Pakistanis and a bunch of other countries are now gotten clued in that Americans are bored and rich and they spend all day arguing on the internet. Well, they're on there arguing with us, only they're not telling you that they're Chinese or Pakistani or Russian agents. There's like, oh no, I'm Frank Smith from Wisconsin and I agree that, whatever horrible opinion people have, and they do clickbait all day and it's riling people up. So I think some of it's the result of a guy like Meathead reading it too and believing it too, because he's old and he doesn't get the internet, and I have older relatives and they don't get the internet at all. JC, turns out Meathead wasn't acting, he just had a wig on. He wasn't bald back then, I don't think. That's when he was young. Young and skinny. Now he's bald and fat. So, it's a shame. But yeah, so South Park was getting blasted for, oh, they make fun of Trump, they never make fun of the other side, kind of thing. They destroyed Rob Reiner in an episode, like absolutely destroyed him, and his wacky takes on cigarette smoking. It was the cigarette smoking episode. So, but for some reason, everybody's mad at South Park. But I get it. You're a Trump supporter. But, you know, the joke was right in what they put in the show. And the big revelation was Trump was having sex with Satan. Trump is effing Satan. So that's the joke. If you don't see it, the joke is, you know, everybody on the left says Trump is Satan. Trump is effing Satan. He's literally effing Satan. So that's the joke. But it seems like it's lost upon people. And I kind of don't blame them. They're all pissed off, the Trump supporters. And, you know, I'm a Trump supporter. I was a little pissed off too. But I don't see any reason to go after South Park. It's just a complete waste of time. The guys have entertained for many years. We're going to sit and pick apart their politics. Those guys have expressed many libertarian leanings, and they do work in the industry. They're trying to get, you know, deals going and make their money. I know that doesn't necessarily mean they can't stick to their principles, but, you know, when you're staring down an offer of $1.5 billion, is it really that big a deal to suck it up and maybe not express every single one of your political opinions in a cartoon that's stupid anyway? I don't think they were too hard on Trump. Trump is the zeitgeist. He's in charge. It's perfectly fine to make fun of him. You could say it's extreme. I think it's fine. I haven't seen the episodes. Maybe it's over the top. I know that Paramount announced they were going to pull the Charlie Kirk episode, and they never did. But Kirk liked the episode, so let's just all get a sense of humor and just ignore the cartoon that's talking politics. If you don't like it, don't watch it. JC, no, it was a wig. Even back then, I remember watching an A&E behind the scenes of that show. Really? That's crazy. It was a good wig, though. JC, they said Meathead was the only cast member that could walk down the street because he would take his wig off and no one would recognize him. Ha! Wow, he must have went bald early then. Oh, that makes sense because there was a great bit on the Dick Van Dyke Show. I used to watch it in reruns. So, the Dick Van Dyke Show, Carl Reiner was the host of a comedy show that Dick Van Dyke wrote for. And his wife in the show was Mary Tyler Moore. And so there was an amazing episode where Mary Tyler Moore goes on a game show and she accidentally reveals that Carl Reiner's character is bald. And nobody knew that outside the small circle of the writers and, you know, their wives. And so there's a scene where Carl Reiner calls Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore into his office to yell at them for exposing to the world that he's actually bald. And he's got this row of toupees for every occasion. And he's like, see, I had it all mapped out. Carl, your hair's too long. And then he put on another one. Carl, your hair's too short. Carl, your hair's receding. And like, it's a really funny scene. So now that comes together for me. Yeah, he must have been bald too. JC, I'm more offended that they just reused their own 26-year-old joke from their movie. So lame. Just end the show already and cancel The Simpsons at the same time. I don't think they're in that mode, but again, repetition is the staple of comedy. So and they might be built into another bit. I don't know. I didn't see the episodes. I kind of want to see them, but now they're not free because of their Paramount deal. But at some point they'll be online. I'll just watch them all. But yeah, I mean, everything gets old. Everything gets lame. South Park lasted a long time, though. I mean, I don't want to see it go Disney. I can't. I can't say it's woke. Maybe it's political, but it's not woke. Number 10, The Sound of Music is back in theaters. It did 1.4 million. Well, that's better than the Fantastic Four First Steps. That was number 6 last week, and now it's down to number 11. 1.4 million. The Sound of Music was 1.4 and change. In its 8th week, going out of theaters. Goodbye, Fantastic Four. We hardly knew ye. JC, the early South Park stuff aged poorly. Rehatching the Satan bit just highlights that. They rehashed Cartman's anal probe, and visitors are in every single episode, but let me see. I want to see what The Sound of Music has done. The Sound of Music made $286 million worldwide to date. I would love to know the budget on this thing. The budget can't be much, right? What do you think the budget on The Sound of Music was in real dollars? Probably like $5 million, if that. Something like that. JC, I saw The Sound of Music in the theaters like 10 years ago. Great movie. The hills are alive. Number 12, The Bad Guys 2, dropping from 8, 1.1 million. I don't think this movie made its money back, and I don't think it will. 199? Not quite. Needs like, well, it's about break even. But I think that's mostly done. Filbert, they filmed overseas, didn't they? The Sound of Music? Yeah, I think they would have had to because there's that whole mountain scene. JC, if you just adjusted all that money for inflation, it's probably a lot more. Well, yeah, I know, but still, though, it's kind of cool to see. I mean, it's a reason to do something that's good because it endures and you can keep bringing it back in the theaters. Indie Phantom never saw The Sound of Music. I'm not big on musicals, so I don't think I've seen the whole thing. It's one of those movies, I see clips of it all the time. Not online, but back in the day, it would always be on TV. I'd watch like 5 minutes of it, get bored, and walk away. I think between doing that, I've seen most of the scenes. Number 13, Caught Stealing, drops from 5 to 13. This movie didn't do well. 1.1 million plus a little bit, and it's done 27 million. Yeah, I don't know if this isn't probably money. I like the look of this movie. I may watch it on streaming. It looked okay. Indie Phantom, haven't seen The Wizard of Oz either. Don't appeal to me. I used to watch Wizard of Oz practically every year for a while, but I was a kid. It's okay. I mean, there's a lot of jokes you might not get because you haven't seen it. And then, of course, you don't know all the, I don't know if you know the conspiracy theories around The Wizard of Oz, that supposedly there's a dwarf that hung himself on the set and you could see him in the background of a shot, and that they used for the snow scene, they used asbestos and everybody got cancer. There's like all these crazy stories. JC, it's a great musical. All the songs are good. It's long though. Indie Phantom, I saw Julie Andrews' boobs in SOB. Good flick. I remember that. I remember that scene. Filbert, Some musicals were classics, like Oklahoma and Gigi, My Fair Lady, a few more. It's true. JC, Wizard of Oz is one of the best movies ever made. I like it. I mean, I can't watch it anymore. I've kind of seen it too many times, but Filbert, I never watched The Wizard all the way through either. Well, I won't give it away, but they all die. JC, that's not real. It's a crane. A bird. Yeah, I know it's not real. It's conspiracy theory. Indie Phantom, I enjoy Under the Rainbow about the dwarves. I enjoy oh gosh, what's the name of that movie? It's the one with Steve Buscemi. He's an indie film guy. I think Peter Dinklage is in it as an elf. Well, he's an actor playing an elf in a movie. Oh God, I think it's called Living in Oblivion. That's the one I always think of when I think of dwarves. Indie Phantom, Return to Oz is darker. I've heard that's great. I think Razor Fist was raving about that one day. After Caught Stealing, 14 is Light of the World. 950K in its second week, dropping 60%. Number 15 is The Roses. Oh, this movie. God, just take it. Just put it out of its misery already. Not only is it in its third week, they dropped it from almost 1,400 theaters in its third week. It's done. This movie is DUN done. 40 million. Without even, I don't know what this cost. I bet you it cost more than that. JC, I like Phantom of the Paradise. Indie Phantom, Living in Oblivion is correct. Great movie. Yeah, when that woman sort of just floats through the wall. It's crazy. JC, I know the movie you're talking about. Very 90s type thing. I thought it aged kind of cringe. Indie Phantom, Caught Stealing looked fine, but again, sounds like the wait for streaming. Yeah, totally. The Baltimoreans, this movie looked like it could be watchable. It was a comedy. They're trying to beef it up by dropping it in more theaters in the second week. You know, it's not like a super laugh out loud comedy, more of like kind of a family, wacky family sort of comedy, but it looks okay. I might catch that. Superman is next, 290K, going out of theaters in its 10th week. Jurassic World Rebirth, the movie that would never die, in its 11th week for 200K. F1 the movie, 165K. Then Splitsville in its 4th week, 140K. The Naked Gun in its 7th week at 119K. Premiering way near the bottom, The History of Sound. I think I saw the trailer for this. No, maybe I was reading about it. I think this is a gay romance thing. 85K, I don't know. You make a movie like this, you know, Paul Mescal is like an A-lister now. But whatever. I guess it's Oscar bait. Lilo and Stitch, 75K. Jaws, 50K. Still in theaters. A lot of old movies out. Nobody 2 is still out, 39K. In its 5th week, and it is DOA. Oh, it is done. I don't think they should make a third. They should just get the hint and say, let's move on. Women in Christ. 16K. It's only in one theater. Oh, looks like a religious movie. I think they would sell more tickets if they called it Hot Women in Christ. Clint Miller. Balmer? Or is it Bodymore? Murderland? We love our town. No, it's Baltimoreans. Oh, Baltimore. Yeah, it looks like a fun movie. I think the Baltimoreans could be okay. Oh, it's still in theaters. Cat Video Fest 2025. It's still making money. $14,000. in its 7th week. How the hell is that last 7 weeks? And this one, I also saw this trailer. Bang Bang. Looks like a standard actioner. Tim Blake is in it? Tim Blake Nelson? Old Henry. But he's not the main character, or wait, no, he is. Okay, I'm thinking of a different movie. Oh, this is The Boxer. Yeah, this looks good. I don't generally dig boxer movies, but this one looks good. I like Tim Nelson, or Tim Blake Nelson. JC, it's probably a touring thing. Yeah, Bang Bang looks kind of cool. He's like a washed-up boxer who has to teach his grandson how to box, and then there's a rival fighter he used to box. Like, he's not doing well. He's kind of an idiot, and then his rival though, started a business with his money, and he's super successful, and then they have a whole thing. So it looks kind of cool. All right, that's the box office, 146 million. I'll remind you that half of that was Demon Slayer Kinemitsu no Yaiba, the movie. Infinity Castle. Jesus. Takes me 10 minutes just to say the title, Sony. Couldn't you just cut it down to Demon Slayer 5, 6, 7? I mean, you made 8 of these movies. So, wow. That is sad. But thank you to Japan for keeping our movie theaters open, I guess. For what good it'll do. Maybe by the time the next Godzilla movie comes out, I'll actually talk myself into going back into a theater. Doubtful. Very doubtful. All right. Let's find the Emmys. We had a request here. We'll go to the Daily Mail. All right. Oh, here it is. All right. Best dressed. Okay. All right. Best dressed. Sydney Sweeney, of course. See, but like, it's weird. Now, Jenna Ortega is not best dressed. She's just hot. She's just young and hot. Sydney Sweeney is dressed nice. Like, that would be, she would be a nice date. It would be, you would look good with her on your arm. With Jenna Ortega, it'd be like, what happened? Did a jewelry box explode on your chest before you got dressed? Like, what is that? Doesn't make any sense. That's not best dressed at all. No. She's just hot. And showing a lot of skin. I mean, this chick's only like, yeah, she's only 22. She's in the prime of her life. But I don't know what the hell she did to her face. Her face looks weird now. Selena Gomez. She is hotter than this outfit, would indicate. So that's kind of not a great outfit on her, but that's appropriate at least. Selena Gomez. Megan, I don't know who this is. Kind of low cleavage for nothing. You're kind of too flat-chested to pull that off, I think. Filbert, wait till you see the worst dressed, okay? JC, Jenna looks terrible. You pin your grandfather's bottle cap collection to your tits, sweetie? Selena is boring. Yes, she is. I mean, this chick, she looks flatter than a pancake. I mean, no offense. It's like, why would you wear something like that? It's like you're trying, I mean, wear a push-up bra and then a real dress, I would say. All right, Jenna Ortega, okay. Yes, see, Sweeney's looking good. And she just got off that stupid movie where she plays a boxer, so she looks like she already lost most of the weight. And her face healed up fine. So, I mean, I'm sure they didn't actually hit her too much. Filbert, I don't know most of them, to be honest. I like it. Yeah, who doesn't like those sweater puppies? I mean, she looks great. Are these all pictures of her? JC, Selena is in the process of slamming into the wall hard. Look at the guy she's marrying. The guy's a total... I don't know if I should say that other word on the live stream. Yeah, here's... Jenna Ortega looks bizarre. She looks like she's trying to be cool, and it's just like, Jenna, you look ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous outfit I've ever seen. There's... Oh, there's... Okay, that's her boyfriend? Jesus. You know that lineup of guys evolving? I think he's like, you know, third from the end. That's the way he looks to me. Filbert, no, I like the flat one. I mean, she doesn't look bad, but it's like, why would you wear such a cleavagey thing? Oh, here we go. Scarlett. Scarlett looks good. She always looks good. I like Scarlett. I know, some of you say mid. JC, look him up and you'll see what I mean. He's literally has a unibrow. I don't want to look at dudes. I'll look at Scarlett, though. I mean, she's way past her prime, but she still looks good. JC, she's marrying him. She looks taller than him, too, and she's like 5'2". Love is blind, my friend. Love is blind. JC, Scarlett looks mid. Most mid-dressed. How dare you? Oh, she's got a nice smile. I think she looks good. Oh, here is Kate Blanchett, 56. She looks good for 56, I would say. I don't really like the outfit. But, kind of looks like something out of Star Trek. But, you know, in the, like a sexier version of Star Trek. But she's pretty cute. I gotta say, she's still pretty cute. Justine Lupi. Don't know her. She looks pretty good. I mean, I can't argue with that. Yeah, she looks all right. I mean, her dress is kind of see-through. I don't really get the whole see-through thing. I mean, just show up in your underwear if you want to wear see-through, quite frankly. Filbert, outfit on Kate is not feminine. JC, it's not like looking at dudes. It's like looking up pictures of a monkey. Everyone likes monkeys. She looks good. Too skinny. This is Shania Shake? I don't know who that is. Pretty good. Kind of reminds me of like Catherine Zeta-Jones back in the day. Filbert, I like the Lupi. Yeah, Lupi is nice. She's pretty cute. Shanina is she's all right. Some of these women, I bet, would look really hot in person. You know, part of the, you know, some of these pictures look good, but I bet in person, someone like her is like, phew, you'd probably be like, oh my God. Yeah, oh, that's an even better shot. Whew. I don't know who she is, though. What has she been in? Damn. Now, she's got the bod to rock that cleavage. All right, now she's a model, apparently. She's got nice legs. Don't really like the face as much, but... All right, here we go. Kristen Bell. Kristen Bell looks decent. I don't think that dress is doing her any favors, but okay. Well, the back looks cool. JC. All right. Look at this S. All right, I'm going to look. You better not get me in trouble. You're just jealous. You're just jealous, dude. You don't have Selena Gomez. That's a pretty funny picture, though. JC, terrible dress. Jennifer Coolidge, 64. For 64, she looks fine. I mean, that's the smart move. You wear a lot of black. Indie Phantom. Scarlet is mid, Tony. How dare you? You leave Scarlet alone. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I kind of like Jennifer Coolidge. She's kind of funny, but seems weird to have this 64-year-old woman modeling dresses on the carpet, but whatever. Filbert, oof. JEC, I don't want 35-year-old Selena Gomez. Indie Phantom, Selena Gomez, like around 2005, was just amazing. Oh, here's Walter Goggins, looking like he just did some heroin backstage. And here's his wife. His wife's all right. I mean, I assume she's about as old as him, so she's in her 50s. Filbert, that's terrible. Don't wear something so tight. Indie Phantom, maybe 2013. All right, get a room. Who is this? Gwendolyn Christie. Oh, yeah, that was the big tall chick from Game of Thrones. Indie Phantom, Goggins living it up. JEC, I like the Walter Goggins' wife's titties. Gwendolyn Christie. I mean, she looks okay. I guess. She kind of reminds me a little bit of like a taller, younger Hillary Clinton, though. That part scares me. Oh, here we go. Michelle Monaghan. Okay. And no bra. Okay. Now we're talking. Finally. You know, you could put the hot chicks out on the carpet first. It's a perfectly fine dress. I think they sprayed it on her with paint. Oh, this one. Jesus. Are you going on a crusade later? What the hell is this? Indie Phantom. These women are red flags, Tony. You should be scared. I got a girlfriend now. I don't need these hot women. And I can't afford any of them, I'm sure. Clint Miller. My girlfriend asked me what the guys calling Scarlett Johansson mid look like. Well, you'll have to see if you can find their pictures, I suppose. Maybe they'll email you them. JC, beam me up, Space Lady. Welcome to my planet. Filbert, getting good now. Who's this? Hannah Einbinder? Okay. I mean, is that supposed to be metal? It doesn't look metallic. I've heard that name. What the hell was she in? Don't remember. All right. Okay. Oh, who's this? Sarah Catherine Hook, 30. She, and I don't mean any offense by this, she looks mid. That's mid to me. And that dress ain't doing her any favors. Yeah. Not a great look. Needed something a little more. It looks like it's a size too big. It looks like you need the tailor to come in and take it in a little bit. Is that the same woman? It is. From the back, it's a little better, but... JC, I'm told I look like Ben McKenzie. Indie Phantom, Trace mid. Kathy Bates, 77. Well, for 77, I got to give it to her. I mean, she looks good. She lost all the weight. I think she took Ozempic, right? That was the rumor. I mean, she was pretty heavy, and at her age, why not? Why not give it a shot? So she looks a lot better, a lot healthier. Um, you know, as healthy you're going to look at 77. JC, she looks cute, not a flattering dress, needs a dress with a better cut. I assume you're talking about Kathy Bates, JC. Filbert, it's a Miss Havershaw dress. Jason Segel and his fiance, his hot fiance, Kyla Radamanski. Indy Phantom, Bates is mid. That's a pretty big compliment for someone who's 77. I mean, if you're still mid at 77, that's pretty good. She doesn't look 77, I'll say. She looks more like 60s. But this chick's rocking it. She's hot. How old do you think she is? I'm going to say like maybe 32, 30, something like that. Indy Phantom, hot ass GF. JC, I mean, if you're 77, worst that will happen is that it kills you, which the weight was going to kill you anyway. Exactly. One of my older relatives, I told him I had to get a colonoscopy or I'd just come back from one or something. And he was like, oh, yeah, I don't have to do those anymore. And I said, why? And he's in his early 80s. And he said, because the doctor told me it doesn't matter. You know, if you get cancer in your 80s, they're just, what are they going to do? Which I thought was a little creepy. JC, 26. Nice. He's 45. She's 26. He's on the Leonardo DiCaprio plan. So I assume this is their last date together. Yeah, she's cute. Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor. So that was that's Jan, right? From the Brady Bunch. He does not look happy. He looks terrible, actually, in this picture. JC, that's a guess. Oh, that's a guess. Oh, okay. I gotta say, Ben Stiller's wife holding up great. Looks good. Ben Stiller, kind of looking old. Alex Ogle is here. Evening, bigots. The week's events. I pitched the following: Sinister Sydney Sweeney in a dress suit heads the last group in the FBI actually committed to fighting crime on the left. All right, I'll take a draft on Tuesday. Filbert. No, she was Marsha. Oh, Marsha. Marsha. JC, Ben found a woman who was almost as short as him, but not quite. Oh, he's got his hair. Yeah, I see. He's got his hair up, so he looks just as tall as her. Alex Ogle, Latin, sinister. She struggles to get the miscreants to give themselves up. Yeah, but his wife looks great. Who's this? Real Housewife star. How did she get in here? A Real Housewife star gets to go on the red carpet too at the Emmys? I guess. She looks okay. Actually pretty good. At 51. I mean, a lot of that's fake. Obviously, I think that hair is fake and those boobs are probably fake, but if you're going to fake it, make it look good. Alex Ogle, until one day she discovers the simple expedient of stripping to a bikini and jumping up and down a bit. Nice. All right. Let me see that draft on Monday. Yeah, it's just my opinion, but, she looks good. JC, I'd hit it. Alex Ogle. Then they froth at the mouth, and she can identify them easily. Her career flourishes. Wow, you're getting really into this. Filbert. She looks bald. Possibly. JEC, her hair and makeup wouldn't look so flattering by the time I'm done with her. Settle down. Here's another Real Housewife star. Kit Hoover. I don't know who that is either. She looks okay. Oh, there she is from the side. And this is Caroline Ribeiro. I guess this is another housewife. I wonder how much you have to pay the producers to get your wife on one of these shows. Ruth, I won't say the last name, but that looks nice. That just seems like a nice dress. Alex Ogle, is it me or is Hollywood stars going downhill since Me Too? Oh, I mean, like, no offense to the Real Housewives. They're not stars, in my opinion, but it is the Emmys, so. Chris Marshall. She looks good. I like the look of her. That dress is... Yeah, I don't like that dress, but she looks great. What the hell is going on? What is this giant M thing? Looks like she's busting out of a mushroom or something? I don't get it. JC, I mean, it's the Emmys. They give out awards for TV too. I mean, it is TV awards. It's no movies, I don't think. Heather McMahon. Don't know who that is. I think another one of the wives. She strikes me as a wife. A good looking one. I mean, you know. Clint Miller. It's the Westminster Dog Show. Oh, nasty. Nasty, Clint. Filbert, at least when Weinstein was around, we got hot chicks in the movies. I think there are plenty of hot chicks. They're just not casting them like they used to. Brescia Webb looks fine. Chase Sui also looks fine, I guess. JC, that dress is obviously satanic. Her P is growing the horns of Moloch. Still hit it though. That's a take. I thought you were going in another direction, and then you said I'd still hit it though. That was funny. Alex Ogle, a friend forwarded me Seth Rogen singing his opening to an award ceremony from 2013 and his song "We Saw Your Boobs." Utterly tasteless, but very funny. JC, get me some of the Demon P. Alex Ogle, Seth MacFarlane. Oh, Seth MacFarlane singing. Was that his Oscars? He hosted the Oscars, and I thought he was pretty good, mainly because he had Shatner on, kind of reprising his role as Captain Kirk briefly. Kind of, not really, but I thought he was a decent host. That was one of the wives from earlier. Haley Khalil. Not sure who that is. She looks pretty good. It's a nice looking dress. Like, these are the kind of gowns I expect at these events. Just different colors and patterns, but basically like this. It's like, oh no, we gotta dump a box of jewelry on Jenna Ortega. Okay. I don't know who these people are. Nichelle Turner is the woman. That's pretty decent looking dress, I guess. I don't care about that dude. Don't care about dudes. Don't care about dudes. I don't want to see dudes. Don't care about the awards. There's Adam Scott for some reason. Okay, now they're just clips. I think that's it. That's it for the Emmy dresses. Oh, here's the worst. So we missed these. All right. So this is Parker Posey, 56. Yeah, that's, what is that? What is that? Filbert, go to worst now. Yep, here it is. That's horrific. What's going on here? It's like different levels of school marm. What the hell is this? Wow. This is I don't even know what this is. Filbert, LOL. I mean, LOL indeed. I don't know what this dress is. It's crazy. It's sort of like, it screams kind of Wild West, and like a reverse Wednesday Addams. Whoa. That's what's her face. Sarah Paulson, 50. Now Sarah herself looks okay, but what is this? The Muppet Show? Is she wearing a Muppet? Come on. You can't wear that dress. Who told her to wear this dress? Come on. JC, wearing my grandmother's drapes? Still hit it, though. You're a thirsty man. Sarah Paulson. Filbert, someone pluck her. Yeah. If I'm remembering correctly, Sarah Paulson also wore an ugly dress last year. I kind of remember calling her out. Who is this? Real Housewife again. I mean, what is she? She looks like she's Isis. Remember Isis? I don't know if you guys remember. There was a superhero live action show called Isis. It was they did a live action show of Captain Marvel, Shazam, and then they had the Isis was like the female version. That's kind of what that outfit reminds me of. JC, funeral for Bjork's swan dress? Perhaps. But yeah, I don't get what this is at all. JC, tacky. Well, that's a slight improvement. I mean, she's kind of cute. 28. Lisa from South Korean girl group Blackpink. So she kind of had to wear pink, I guess. It's a weird looking dress, though. I wouldn't put her at the bottom of the worst list, though. I would have put her at the top. Mainly because she's pretty hot. I mean. But, yeah, that dress isn't doing her favors. What the hell is this? Country star Lainey Wilson, 33. With the ugliest pants I've ever seen. And she decided to wear them under a dress, which she's then pulled apart so you could see her ugly pants. What the hell, man? Filbert, this one isn't bad. JC, yummy cotton candy. She kind of looks AI, though. Get you some of that demon AI pee. You guys got to catch up to these pants. I don't know. This looks like the kind of pants you would buy in the Southwest from some guys off the reservation. And they would give you a story about the sacred pants, and then your wife would buy them, and you'd be embarrassed to walk to the restaurant with her in them. Filbert, think of the marks on her A after sitting. Yeah, because those look like real studs. Alex Ogle. Tahat Quran Bird reminds me of the song by 70s group The Monks. Nice legs, shame about the boat race. Rhyming slang for face. Alex, that Korean. JC, no comment on the pants. Cowboy hat, though. Really? Well, it kind of goes with the Southwestern look. And she is a country star. But I just can't get over those pants. This wasn't too bad. Gilmore Girls Rose Abdu, 62. I mean, she's 62. It's fine, I guess. It's like a tablecloth. Oh, my God. Sarah Horgan, 55. Never heard of her. No. This is so wrong. I mean, look. For 55, she's holding up pretty good. But what is this? What is this? It's a very confusing dress. If it is it even a dress? It feels like underwear, negligee. And what's on her leg underneath? Is that like a looks like a sticker that goes down her leg? It's weird. Filbert, give the old lady a pass. Yep. JC Granny covering up. Still hit it, though. Red-headed mid. Well, she's 56, dude. I mean, I think for 56, that's pretty good. But that dress, what the F, man? No. She's showing way too much skin for 56. Like, some 22-year-old could maybe rock this because anything a 22-year-old wears is going to be pretty hot, but she should be in a better dress. JC, she needs to cover up more. Would not hit. I agree that she needs to cover up more. Alex, as the joke goes, you're a country member. Do you remember? You have to split the sentence by syllables, which is difficult for Americans. You're a country... Oh, I get it. Filbert, showing her worst parts. Yeah. Why would you do that? What the... Now, how did you even get in here? Megan Statler, 34. Fame and HBO Max comedy hacks. Ugh, Lena Dunham's too much. Ugh. Well, it's not like putting her in better clothes would have really helped her, but that's just a FU to the Emmys. Really, when you think about it. I mean, Bill Murray showed up to the Oscars once in shorts and a t-shirt and a Hawaiian shirt, I think, but it was a joke. Is this even a joke? She looks so serious. Isa Briones, 26. It's been in Star Trek Picard, Goosebumps, The Takers. Kind of cute. I mean, the dress isn't too bad. Filbert, this one didn't even try. Yep. JC, looks like someone's assistant. Poorly dressed assistant. But this one, she looks fine. I mean, the dress ain't great. I don't know. Is this in any kind of order? Because it feels like you got them in the wrong order. JC, ugly green. I agree. Yeah, the green is the most of the problem. Alex Ogle, oof, Megan is representing neutron degeneracy and relativistic behavior around ultramassive bodies. And who is this? Michelle Williams, 45. Not a great dress, but I mean, all the other ones are worse than this. I mean, that, except maybe the Korean girl's dress, but seems fine. I mean, it does seem like a bit like a shroud, like kind of you robbed a mummy and took all the bandages and made a dress out of it, but she just looks like she's not happy to be there. I mean, smile a little. Now, who's this? Morning news anchor Megan Henderson, 50. Pretty good for 50. Filbert, not bad. JC, she's fine. Alex Ogle, Wraith. Yeah, the news girl, pretty cute. Pretty fit, too. She's working it. Yeah, if you're not fit, you shouldn't be in dresses like that. She looks good. And she's in her 50s. She's working out. No way she's not working out. This is TV personality Zura Hall. I have no idea. Not a great dress. Alex Ogle, hot news anchor in Battleship Dazzled Camouflage. Filbert, don't see a problem with her either. This one is, I don't like the way the light shines off of this one. It's, you going for like the Predator? Trying to confuse me so I can't target you. JC, Megan looks good. Dress looks like the carpet at a Chinese restaurant. Alex Ogle, can't estimate her range or speed. Filbert, looks like a new deep sea octopus. JC, weird looking dress. She's cute though. Yeah, I kind of can't tell if she's cute. Her fingers are weird. And this is an ugly one. Shannon Murphy. What? Oof. Did you rob a mannequin somewhere? What the hell is this? And did you rob a mannequin at a really bad store? I mean, that is an ugly, ugly dress. That's the ugliest one yet. I mean, just in terms of a dress. I mean, she's neither ugly nor cute, but she is mid, but man, that dress is horrific. Why didn't somebody stop her? Who thought this would be a good dress? I just don't know. That dress makes me want to vomit. That is awful. The shawl really hurts it too. I mean, maybe lose the shawl and the shawl and maybe it'll be slightly better. Alex Ogle, Shannon dressed like that nasty teacher from Harry Potter. JC, a magician pulled these scarves out of her pee. Filbert, that boa looks like a caterpillar. JC, look at the ugly butterfly things on the chest. Is that what that is? Yeah, I guess it is a butterfly. Yeah, they're terrible. Oh, God, I hate the colors. Oh, I know what the colors are. It's the trans flag colors. That's why she's wearing this, right? It's like pink, blue, and white, but the black is extra. It's just making it look even uglier. God, that's horrific. That dress should be a war crime. This is weird. American actress and producer Fiona Dourif. No, you don't have the body for this. But thanks for playing our game. We have some lovely parting gifts, including a robe. JC, it's like a preschooler dressed her for the Emmys. JC, she looks trans. Maybe. Those boobs look weird. She definitely doesn't have the body for this dress. Filbert, sad, really. Yeah, you'd wonder, like, didn't anybody, like, stop these people and say, you do not look good. Goth baddie who can't quite pull it off unless at JEC is willing. All right, now we saw her before and her boyfriend. And this looks like a trans person. Lexi Love of RuPaul's Drag Race. Called it. Yeah, I don't want to look at dudes. And that's it. Wow, you had to end on that one? All right, I guess we might as well look at the outfit. I mean, yeah, that's pretty fugly. JC would not hit into chicks with D's. Filbert, oh boy, literally. JC, demon. I don't even know what he's going for here. It's just like, it's such a cartoony representation of a woman. Filbert, thanks, Tony. Good job. Thank you. Thank you, Filbert. I aim the please here on the live stream. All right, I got to get off this. I can't look at that. Face from The Exorcist. Yeah. All right, let's see what's going on in the trades. Chloe Zhao's Shakespearean drama captured the Toronto International Film Festival's highly coveted People's Choice Award, bolstering its Oscar chances. This is Hamnet. Hamnet. JC, the nails look like talons. Yeah, definitely looks demonic. That was a fun segment, says JC. All right, well, we'll do that again soon at some point. There'll be some other stupid award, I'm sure. Yeah, Hamnet is what, it's the story of what Hamlet was based on with Shakespeare. I think it's Paul Mescal as Shakespeare. I guess. I mean, it's definitely a movie Chloe Zhao could direct more so than, say, The Eternals, a superhero movie. Filbert, they spelled it wrong? No, no, it's actually called Hamnet because the premise of the movie is while Shakespeare was writing Hamlet, he was inspired by someone in his family named Hamnet. Indie Phantom, last year's TIFF winner was The Life of Chuck, another Stephen King based bomb starring Mark Hamill. And I didn't remember Hamill being in it, but Tom Hiddleston was the main guy in that, I know. JEC, I'm sure you could pull up some worst dress list. All right, we could do it next week. I'm sure there'll be one somewhere. Hamnet is the online version of Hamlet. Oh, I get it. Okay. I was thinking about it and I'm like, oh, it clicked. The Witcher Season 4 first look. No one cares because it's Liam Hemsworth instead of Henry Cavill. Good luck. Goodbye and good luck. I don't recall saying good luck. This was a big news story. So a group of about 4,000 industry people signed a pledge not to work with the Israeli film industry. And now Paramount's like, why? Are we really going to do this? The Israeli film industry isn't bombing Gaza, and they don't really have any sway as far as I know. So you can try all you want, Hollywood. It ain't going to work. Indie Phantom, yeah, Hamill is being Oscar touted for Chuck. Really? He plays the dad, has a big monologue, probably in it nearly as much as Hiddleston. I don't even remember seeing him in the trailer. Huh. That's crazy. More on Demon Slayer. Emmy predictions. Adolescence, Severance, and The Studio expected to win big. Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's see. Coldplay gave a shout out to Charlie Kirk at one of their concerts. That was nice of them. Let's see. Brian Kilmeade apologizes for saying the government should just kill homeless people with involuntary lethal injection on Fox and Friends. He actually said that. I thought I just naturally assumed when I hear something crazy that, you know, it's probably not true. It was probably made up by media pundits to slam anybody on the right, but I guess he actually said it. Is he out of his mind? Indie Phantom, Hamill simultaneously shooting himself in the foot, so all good. Ah, crap. I gotta hit the bathroom. I'll be right back. Joan, take over. All right, little Joan, there you go. Take over with the show. Be all you can be, doggy. Whew. Man, I was going to try to make it, but that wasn't happening. Good job, John. Sorry about that. Where was I? JC, I mean, yes, but you can't say that out loud. Indie Phantom, yeah, Variety might be spinning that story a tad. Indie Phantom, LOL, Joan. Yeah, when I picked her up, she had that look on her face like, me? I'm in charge? Alex Ogle, Joan, no, you never get away with that. Still, hilariously funny nonetheless. JC, calm down, Joan. I know Charlie Kirk may have been too pro-Israel for your taste, but come on, the man is dead. His children saw their father get shot. Joan. Alex Ogle, what a dog. Wait, well, a dog unicycling is something I never thought I'd see. No, Joan loved Charlie Kirk because he was a nice guy. He would have given Joan pets. What else? What else? Spinal Tap's lost 1991 interview on Legacy Reunion on covering Tom's Diner. You know that quote, he doesn't sing to another drummer. We don't. Okay. Lost 1991 interview. Fictional characters. Whatever. Indie Phantom. Joan can't be woke. That's true. She hates communists. Bobby Hart, who co-wrote the Monkees' Smashes, the 3 Days of Our Lives theme, and his own hit as a member of Boyce and Hart, dies at 86. Wow, I'm a big fan of this guy. I didn't even know who he was. I love the Monkees. I listen to the Monkees' music a lot. Like, almost not quite as much as, say, like the Rolling Stones or the Beatles, but pretty much up there. I go through phases where I want to listen to the Monkees a lot, and I just start listening to them. Oh, man, dude. Well, that was a pretty good run. He was very talented. I love the Monkees. Oh, man, the Monkees had so many great songs. All right, going to Fandom Pulse. Indie Phantom. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. Was Star Trek Strange New World Season 3 finale intended to be a Doctor Who crossover episode? Oh, dear God. Every day I say to myself, I wonder if they can make Star Wars worse. And finally, you've answered that question. Indie Phantom, aren't they the stars of Head? They were, yes. Everybody is dead except Mickey, unfortunately. Alex Ogle, the Monkees were superb. I didn't realize the gentleman was involved. Yeah, neither did I. Man, I used to watch that show every day when I was a kid. I would come home for school and it was on the reruns. I love that show. JC, every day we move further away from God. That's always funny. It's always funny. Update, Star Wars Billy D. Williams' Facebook page was hacked. Oh, no. So Billy D. Williams isn't as based as we all thought? Below, I posted all the wonderful things Billy D. Williams has been saying in hopes there was some sanity in Hollywood. Apparently, it's too good to be true. His son and talent agency have both posted that his Facebook page was hacked? Oh, no. We didn't say whoever hacked it wasn't unreasonable. Ugh. Sorry. Messed up what I was clicking on. Alex Ogle, Dave Cullen showed frames from Star Trek with the TARDIS in frame. I was appalled. I saw that, but I thought it was a joke. And I thought he thought it was a joke too, but maybe it wasn't. So, do they have all the... Yeah, like here's one of the... I guess this is one of the fake quotes from Billy D. Williams. If you think it's okay to... I guess I could say it on YouTube. Shoot someone because you disagree with them. You are part of the problem. Erica, Billy D. Williams allegedly, again, is one of the strongest people I've ever met. This was hard to watch. We love you, Erica. You have an entire nation behind you. Like, he didn't say anything crazy, but apparently, you know, this was some hacker posing as Billy D. Williams. Well, that seems upsetting. Then the other thing I wonder is Billy D. Williams like super old and like maybe he did say it, but his agent and his family's like, no, Dad, you can't say that stuff. We're gonna tell everybody you got hacked. But I guess it's true. He got hacked. Indie Phantom, yeah, it was so obvious he was hacked if you read a few of the posts. Oh, okay. I didn't really read them. I just saw the quotes. Well, at least he corrected himself. The left's disgusting attack on Charlie Kirk. Fandom Pulse Daily Briefing. I don't want to go through the... Do we want to go through these? It just makes everybody mad. They're gross. They're stupid. These people are morons. Indie Phantom. Billy D is conservative, though, I think. Yeah, that's why I believed him. I thought, oh, yeah, he's kind of based. Sony confirms firing of Ghost of Yote developer Drew Harrison, but does not explain why. Oh, I think I can explain. He was one of the guys who blasted Charlie Kirk after he died, I believe. Oh, I want to read this. I watched this guy, Legal Analyst. He's pretty good if you haven't seen him. Legal Analyst explains, or what's he call his channel? I think it's Legal Mind or something? Or is it Legal Analyst? Legal Analyst explains how to report threats and individuals celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Yeah, if you're going to do this kind of crap, I don't think you should, unless it's like, you know, number one, somebody you know who, you know, there's no doubt in your mind. And number two, it's someone with an important enough job who you should report, you know. I don't think you should report every communist barista. I think that's nonsense. But someone who's a teacher should not be celebrating the death of anybody. So if there's a legal way to do it, you know, and you just do it and you're not reveling in it. So says here, oh, here it is. Employees can file an OSHA complaint. That would be for a coworker, I guess. Complaints can be submitted online. And you can keep your name confidential. Yeah, I think he posted this a while back. JC, you don't want rage bait? The hell kind of YouTuber are you, Tony? Yeah, I really don't. I think people are already... I'm really worried that people on the MAGA side will act in stupid ways and ruin the moral high ground. Like right now, I mean, Charlie's... Don't get me wrong, Charlie's death is terrible. He was a very nice guy. I'm so sorry it happened. However, you have an opportunity here to essentially destroy the Democratic Party and their leftist minions for at least a good many years. Don't give up the moral high ground by allowing somebody to act stupidly. You know, you don't want to give that up. Right now you've got an entire MAGA movement that, you know, is motivated. Be smart with this opportunity. I think that's what Charlie would have wanted. He would look at this and say, well, I'd really rather be alive, but I'm dead. And hopefully the movement, you know, the movement's doing really well now, too. They've gotten a bunch of, you know, extra recruitees and all that good stuff. So it shouldn't be something you should just throw away. I mean, Charlie died. So if you're just going to throw it away by doing something really stupid and then giving, you know, all these media outlets fodder to say, oh, see, they're just as bad. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Alex Ogle, I think the Charlie Kirk thing has been covered enough elsewhere. No need to rake it over here. Yes, that's what I say. JC, legal mindset. That's it. That's it. Indie Phantom. Oh, yeah, I remember that guy from around the same time Depp Heard trial. Hey, he's pretty good. I like his videos. JC, he's kind of an anime weirdo, moved to Thailand to be a passport bro. Indie Phantom, yeah, it's true at a JEC. All right. Gamergate grifter Zoe Quinn calls Charlie Kirk the CEO of. I'm not even going to say that. Say these people, they have no, I don't know, morals. I guess you would say. I don't even know what to say it, but it's just gross what they do. A man died. Don't be like them. Indie Phantom, be smart is the way. Yeah, be smart. It's not even necessarily about, I mean, you want to be moral too, but, be smart. If you want these people to really, really be screwed forever, so we never have to hear their nonsense ever again, then be smart. Don't give up the moral high ground. Because believe me, in 20 years or whatever, I don't know how long, you'll have a bunch of right-wing woke tards. They'll be doing the same thing from the other side. They'll be screaming about Jesus and saying that my books are demonic and calling me names. So this is an opportunity to be smart, and there's a lot of psyops going on. A lot. So there was an undersea cable that got cut. I believe it was to like Pakistan and India or something, and the internet went down in like most of Pakistan and India for a while. During that time, the amount of bots plummeted on X. Someone had charted it. I saw it on a post. And this is an indication of how many bots are on the site riling people up. And they're not from this country. They're from China, Russia, Pakistan, it looks like, some in India, all over the world. Because those guys, if they're not, agents of the state, then they're being hired to do damage to us. And we want these guys exposed. We don't want people wound up. I mean, look, the guy who killed Charlie, he was wound up by a bunch of crazy internet stuff. It's exactly what wound him up. And people need to be aware that there's a lot of psyops going on online. A lot. Like more than you could possibly imagine. JC, getting people fired for being a ghouls is fine. They would do the same to you for less. Up to a point, some of it's fine. So like if someone's a police officer, if someone's in the military, someone has a government job, they have power over other people. They should not be talking this way. It's radical, it's morally reprehensible, and they have to live up to a certain standard, and we pay their salary. So I think it's fine to notify their supervisors or whatever in a legal and polite way. Somebody who's working, stocking shelves somewhere and making minimum wage, their job doesn't really connect with their attitude. They're just a wage slave working, and they're probably not all together there if they're doing this stuff. I don't think picking on them really does anything. It's definitely not going to make them happy, and it could be the final straw that causes them to go off the deep end and do something really stupid. So I don't think you should go after minimum wage idiots, unless they're, again, it's a fine line. Like, sure, there's some people who are like actually making threats. If you make an actual threat, you should be reported. It's illegal. But if you're talking about somebody who just said something really nasty, block them and be done, I say. But would I report people? Oh, I report people all the time in my comments. I had a guy the other day said, I don't know what he said. He said something stupid to me. I reported him. Nothing ever happens. It's more like you report people in case they start a campaign of harassment against you. I don't know that it did anything. I already blocked them too, so. Alex Ogle, the world needs a dialogue in a respectful manner, even on challenging topics like how pineapple belongs on pizza. Say it, you slag. Now, see, you say you want to be peaceful, and then you say something like that. I demand that we have the pizza commission to once and for all determine that pineapple is a fruit and has no business being on top of a pizza. JC, wait, the bots are from India? Whoa, some of them are from India. JC, who cut the internet cable? Tony? Sharks? I have no idea. I think it was an accident. I don't remember the whole article. I mean, could have been us. I don't know. So here's the Emmy winners if you care. We don't care. Oh, here's that other metallic dress that woman was wearing. At least she won an award. Not for the dress, though. What else? And there's more red carpet. Oh, Stephen Colbert asked, is anyone hiring while presenting the Emmys? Ha 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 ha. He's being fired. Yeah, he'll land on his feet. I mean, I think they probably gave him an Emmy. He was getting like a Mercy Emmy, I think, this year. Super Mario Brothers movie sequel officially gets a title. It's about damn time. The thing made $1 billion. What's taking you so damn long? Indie Phantom, did he won an Emmy? Where? What? Where's that? Did he? No. Stephen Colbert. No, he won a Mercy Emmy, I said. Or a Pity Emmy. Alex Ogle, Toronto. Oh, tomato is a fruit. That goes on pizza. It doesn't go on pizza. It's in the sauce. If you want to make a pineapple sauce, well, then we can negotiate. Pineapple delivers its place in solidarity with the fruit collective. Don't be fruitist. Look. As Charlie Kirk would say, no, I'm not going to make a Charlie Kirk reference. He's dead. I would say no. No on the pineapple. Speaking of Charlie Kirk, canceled Red Hood series writer says Warner Brothers demanded a groveling apology for Charlie Kirk comments. So this is the trans writer who was going to write Red Hood, and then I guess he wrote him, and then it got canceled because of his crass comments about Charlie Kirk. But he ain't backing down. I mean, Indie Phantom thought the black dude was Diddy. Could be wrong, LOL. I don't think so. No, that's not Diddy. He's too like hefty to be Diddy. Yeah, I don't care about this series anyway, but yeah, she said some nasty things about Charlie. Alex Ogle, what is it with Nintendo video games making better films than anything else from Hollywood? Notice there are no pineapples in Mario World. That plumber is a true Italian. See? I don't know. It's just such a popular IP. Everybody loves it. JEC, I looked up this Red Hood book on the pirate site. The art is actually fantastic. Feel so bad for the artist. This fat ghoul ruined his book. Well, if he's a good artist, he'll come back. Maybe they'll hire another writer to rewrite the dialogue. That'd be tough, but it could be done. Over Deadline. More on the Emmys. Emmy. Golden Girls Emmy Tribute. Okay. Aren't all the Golden Girls dead? They're all dead now, right? Or maybe one's still alive? What? Gene Smart wins the 4th Emmy for Hacks. Okay. That show looked terrible. Filbert, I really don't like this cancel culture where it's from the right or left. People should just be able to express their opinions. I agree. But I do think if you have power over people and you hold radical political views of any stripe, you should probably be, at the very least, looked into. I mean, you could probably make exceptions for some people. It'd have to be extremely rare, but I don't mind constituents reporting somebody in the government for bad behavior. If you work for the government, you should be on your best behavior, I feel. Now, if it's a private, business and they do their job, I don't care. I probably won't even know. But if they're going to make a big deal about their political opinions to me, that's a problem. Another problem is one of the people who got canceled this week was a doctor in New Jersey who made some comment about Kirk's assassination, celebrating his death in some manner, and the nurse spoke up and said, "How can you say that? You're a doctor." And I think that's a valid point. I mean, he's got people's lives in his hand, and he's making jokes like that. She was fired, the nurse who called him out, and now she has a lawsuit, and I hope she takes the hospital for $1 gazillion, because he shouldn't be talking that way as a doctor either, because that, I feel, directly impacts his job. And I don't want to go to a doctor who's got some problem with certain people, with their politics. No way. If you got some problem with your politics, okay. If you want to put that on your little placard there in your office, if you're a Republican, I don't want to treat you. Okay, I'm not a Republican, but I won't go to you because I don't want to go to anybody who has that kind of attitude as a doctor. But that's never going to happen, so yeah. But beyond that, I really don't think it really matters beyond those specific circumstances. And keep in mind that you could, you got to be really careful if you're going to report somebody for their views. You got to make sure, first off, it was even them that posted it. It could be, like there's a duplicate account on X I can't get rid of. I've told Elon several times that nothing has been done. You could end up smearing somebody and getting yourself in a lot of trouble if you're not careful. So you have to be extremely careful when you do this kind of stuff. The problem is people aren't, and I think people are jumping on the bandwagon. And I don't think there's anything wrong with, for instance, boycotting Stephen King's movie. I mean, I've sort of reached the end of my rope with him. I'm like, no thank you, Stephen King. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, they've got this website with 40,000 people who have said stuff about Charlie Kirk. That's kind of ridiculous. There's going to be a lot of problems on that site. I wouldn't be surprised if they catch a lawsuit. Could be a class action thing. I'm sure some, DNC lawyer will take it pro bono just to go after the people who put up the site. It'll be a free speech thing. Maybe who knows, the ACLU will get involved. Who knows? That's too much in my view. They went after a guy, and look, his wife said some nasty things about Charlie. And then a guy showed up at his place of business. He didn't say them. His wife did. Did he condone the comments? We don't know. Maybe he didn't even know about them. Some guy shows up at his business, starts, haranguing him. That's not something to do. Alex Ogle, I think Mario is good because Nintendo know not to let the writers make it woke and ruin the star character. If only more IPs took such hardline approach. Looking at you, Games Workshop, for Warhammer 40K. Indie Phantom, I think the left should be about to express their opinions out of my earshot. Yeah. And that's the other thing, too. If it's a situation where somebody's just, you can just sort of shut them out and they're nobody, then just do that. Filbert Coffee Esquire, the nurse should not have been fired for sure. Doctors have the same feelings as everyone else. I know, but I feel like that's that's a gray area. It's like he is calling for the death of a person, and he is a doctor. That is in direct conflict with his job. And I think that might put people in danger if he's serious. Now, maybe there should be some sort of investigation. I don't have a problem with investigating someone if the investigation is relatively objective and at the end of it they decide, okay, he's fine, he's not going to do anything, then maybe. I still wouldn't go to a doctor I heard said something like that, ever. Alex, we know that in Warhammer 40k, Little Joan would be a chaos dreadnought dispensing fiery wrath to everyone not realizing the primordial truth she notices. Filbert, the only thing we are legally not allowed to boycott is Israel. Well, that's another whole thing we won't get into, but, you know, I don't know if it does any good now. I've said for a long time we should just get out of the Middle East because I don't think we're helping Israel at this point. But, you know, every administration that gets in thinks they can solve the problem. Trump's come the closest. He seems frustrated. Maybe this time he bit off more than he could chew, but give him the rest of his term. Maybe he'll pull something off. Alex Ogle, Stephen King wrote about strange school children degeneracy in his book It. That's all you need to know about the chap. I feel worse for having read so many of his works. J.C. Ghouls. Yeah, for Stephen King, I didn't even know about that thing in It. I didn't read it. And then when I found out about it, I was like, I almost didn't believe it at first. I was like, really? So it's very strange, a very strange story. What is this? Ben Stiller, Fokker-in-law star Ben Stiller on working with Ariana Grande and hints at Barbra Streisand's return in process. So they're doing a Meet the Parents sequel, which will reunite him with Robert De Niro and all the people from the previous movies. Yeah, I don't know, man. Ben Stiller was really funny. I mean, Tropic Thunder was really good. I wish he would just go back to that. He's gotten a little caught up in this stuff. Now, maybe this will be good. I don't know. I never really liked Meet the Parents all that much. Some of it was okay. I couldn't get through it, though. I'd watch some of it, and then I'd get bored. All right, moving on to Bleeding Fool. They're ranking Ivan Reitman films. Canadian schools removing explicit comics from public school libraries. Okay. I guess that's fine if they're actually doing it. Trans model proves that woke still isn't dead in Victoria's Secret. Ah, man. Well. Gunn's Peacemaker pushes boundaries that tie Superman to R-rated debauchery. Yeah, I read about the opening of, I guess it was Peacemaker, the first. Yeah, he's in a bisexual orgy with a group of characters. Like, what the hell, man? Maybe it wasn't the first episode, but it just seems like, why even have that? Comics legend Frank Miller. Did we read this last week? Admits defeat, bends the knee to the left. I think we did. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Frank. All right, moving on to the wrap. Anything here? No. Hannah Einbinder says Hacks will end with season 5. Okay. JC, I looked up the comics they're banning. It's poorly drawn ghoul gay slop. All right. More at Cosmic Book News. Alex Ogle, Maltese philosopher Edward de Bono came up with the idea of lateral thinking, engaging with an idea over and over to seek fresh insight. He once posited that jars of Marmite should be dropped in the Middle East to make up for the deficiencies of zinc in their diet that regulates emotion. Yeah, but would they even eat them? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's like chemical. I would just say it's their culture. I mean, their culture was pretty. I think it stopped right around, you know, the 14th, 13th, or 14th century is the problem. It's sort of been trapped there, and it was only drawn into the modern age because we gave them weapons and found oil under where they live. Now we're kind of rapidly approaching the point at which we won't need their oil, thank God. And I think it's a perfect time for the United States anyway to just get out of the Middle East. Just, we don't have to disrupt things on the way out, but just sort of slowly start to back away. Maybe Trump is trying that. Doesn't seem like he's making much progress. I would love to get most of our military bases out of the Middle East and just close them and hand them off to somebody. JC, they need Jesus is the problem. Well, that's another discussion. Stephen King's The Long Walk bombs at the box office following Charlie Kirk comments 33-year low. Elon Musk calls out Amazon's Jeff Bezos over Twitch host Hassan Piker. Good. Now there's a guy who needs to be called out, because Hassan has broken, in my opinion, the Twitch TOS multiple times. They give him a slap on the wrist, and other people break some minor rule and get slam-a-jammed. So, yeah. Hassan Piker is kind of a problem. But I think Twitch is a problem in general. Alex Ogle, that's the funny bit. Marmite is a byproduct of the brewing trade, so the Muslims would reject it. The trouble is that they're too much wrong there, so just drop the jars on your way out. Yeah, I also think Hassan's very dishonest. He seems very disingenuous in his rants. I don't know why anybody watches him, quite frankly. Alex Ogle, Hassan could do with some Marmite. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think he goes off, when he's done twitching or whatever you call it. No, they don't call it twitching over there. Just streaming, I guess. He just goes and lives his life, and he laughs at all the money he's making. Sega, Sonic, and IDW artist Gigi Dutrix celebrates Charlie Kirk's death. See, I don't have a problem with, okay, this person did that. I'm not going to buy the comics anymore. I'm going to boycott the comics. And if you want, to tell IDW, hey, I can't buy comics from a person who says something like this, I don't have a problem with that, as long as you're being polite and as long as you got your facts straight. But the problem is this will turn into a trend and it won't stop. It'll start out, a bunch of asshats will get their jobs, they'll get fired. And then it won't stop. Then it won't be you said something nasty about Charlie. Then it'll go to, well, you said something nasty about Jesus. Then it'll go to, well, you didn't praise Jesus. It's the same pattern in the other direction. JEC, I don't know if I should say that. JEC, Sonic Comics, do I look autistic? A lot of kids read Sonic. Zaslav wants bidding war for Warner Brothers. Netflix still in the mix. It's crazy. Warner Brothers could get bought by Netflix, which would be very interesting. And it could get bought by Paramount, which would be even more interesting. Or Skydance. I guess it's Skydance now. JEC, based. Dr. Doom arrives in Avengers. Doomsday synopsis. All right. Do we want to read this? I guess. Dr. Doom has officially arrived in the Marvel Cinematic Universe stage. This villain, master of cutting-edge science and powerful magic, will unleash a cascading crisis across the multiverse. Okay. There's a picture of Doom. I don't know, man. I'm not really keyed up for this Doomsday. I might stream it just to see what it was about, but if I hear, I'll go to the Nerdrotic guys and see what they say about it first. JC synopsis, I heard they don't even have a script 6 months into filming. Yeah, I mean, how do you have a synopsis? That's the synopsis. That's not really a synopsis, by the way. That Dr. Doom is here. That's not a synopsis. A synopsis is, here's what happened in the movie. If you didn't hear this, Charlie Kirk assassin lived with a transgender partner, FBI confirms. Apparently, they were also a furry. I don't know if that part's true because I think they might be jumping to that conclusion because of the weird-looking furry-like hoodie that the transgender partner was wearing. But it could be. I mean, definitely furry adjacent at least, but they appear to be cooperating with the FBI is the rumor, but then I heard another rumor that they weren't, so they could be in real big trouble if they helped in any way. Anybody who helped this kid in any way, they're in big trouble. They're going to jail. They're going to jail if they find the proof. You are going to jail. Big boy jail. Zack Snyder's Justice League revival possible. Netflix candidate to buy DC. Oh my God. Dear God, no. JC, gay furry? He still might be a groper. Those people are all demented bundle of sticks. No, there's no way these people are groypers. They're super hardcore leftist is what the indication is. I don't know, but the groypers aren't really right wing either. They're socialist, if anything. They're just, socialist the way the bad guys from Germany were socialist. Elon Musk calls out Microsoft over Blizzard developers' comments about Charlie Kirk. Epic Games leadership faces backlash for posts following Charlie Kirk assassination. And I heard there was a breaking story on X that said NBC was firing a bunch of employees for their Kirk comments. So it's just becoming a trend the other way. And then, of course, this is the same DC writer of the Red Hood who got fired. MCU no longer a box office guarantee after 2025 flops. DCU rising a little. I mean, just barely. I mean, you want to talk about gay furry? There was the rise of a bad guy from Germany furry that someone on X had screen caps of. I can't even say his name, but it was, yeah. It was very twisted. Over at That Park Place, more on that Sonic the Hedgehog artist. Universal creative director blames high cost for fewer Five Nights at Freddy animatronics in Hollywood's Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, how hard is it to build a robot and put some carpeting on it and make it move around? I don't know. World of Disney starts opening ceremony where kids get to unlock the store. Okay. And Brainiac nearly appeared in Superman post-credit scene. I did hear that. Yeah, apparently the new Superman movie will be that Lex and Superman will team up to beat Brainiac. Alex Ogle at JEC, do you mean bundle of sticks as to what the French would pronounce as fazo? Or the Roman fazes? Both seem applicable. Breitbart, the hate never ends. Man arrested for vandalizing Kirk Memorial at Turning Point USA HQ. I think I saw this arrest. They caught him. He's going to be charged, I think. They got video of him. There's a prayer vigil in Washington, D.C. for Charlie. Here's the other report. The alleged Charlie Kirk shooter not cooperating with authorities. Initially, they said he was the rumor. Turning Point USA chapter requests skyrocket following Erica Kirk's speech. She vowed to continue Charlie's work. California Democrats reject GOP invite to Charlie Kirk vigil because he was a fascist, according to them. Dem staffer posted F around and find out after Charlie Kirk assassination. See, that person you need to complain about because that person's in your government and they should absolutely not be posting stuff like that. I don't want people in the government expressing their opinions in public on behalf of government, essentially. And that's what happens. They get sloppy and they start doing it everywhere. They should not be doing. They should. If you work for the government, I think you should watch your P's and Q's. Now, if you don't work for the government, do what you want. Who cares? But if you work for the government, you work for me. I don't want that stuff happening on my dime. Fetterman, Democrats should stop calling Trump an autocrat. They should stop calling him names, period. I mean, they should do a lot of things, but they're not going to do it. Here's Jasmine Crockett. ICE equals slave patrols. I mean, she's going to say stuff like that. How do you negotiate with a woman like this? It's just crazy. Let's see. The Matrix director, Lily Wachowski, defends trans DC Comics writer who celebrated Charlie Kirk's assassination. It doesn't surprise me, but it's dumb. Bookstore removes Stephen King's books from its website after Charlie Kirk smear. Oopsie. Oh, but he apologized. Yeah, but he's been saying stupid things for a while. Like, if this had been a one-time thing, yeah, I think a lot of people would have forgiven him. But it's not a one-time thing. Stephen King's been saying, he's been saying stuff for a while. Again, I don't know why he bothers. He's worth millions and millions of dollars. He lives probably in an insane house, literally with a staff. Like, if I had a staff, I'd just be like, oh, cool, I have a staff. Staff, make me a sandwich. And poof, I'd have a sandwich. Alex Ogle, the problem is the number of people mocking the murder while proudly declaring in their bio for whom they work for. Idiots. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the idiocy of these people. But part of it is, and Scott Adams talked about this in his podcast, is they live in such a bubble, they think that's okay. They think most people agree with them. So when they're mocking Charlie's death, they think, oh yeah, no, everybody's going to agree with me. JC, breaking. Hideous Ghoul, who hasn't made a decent movie in 25 years, has an opinion, apparently. Alex Ogle, Lily Wachowski looking like the flower of American femininity. I wonder what Lily wore to the Emmys. Here's Coldplay frontman Chris Martin tells concertgoers to send love to Charlie Kirk's family. That's what you should do. The man was killed in front of his children. It's horrific. Act like a human being. Rap duo Bob Villain's mock killing of Piece of S, Charlie Kirk, call on fans to find and attack fascist. See, I think this guy, I don't know if he's really political, if he's just doing it for the attention. But he's going to F around and find out because he's from the UK. And if the UK decide that that's hate speech, oh, he'll get arrested real quick. I think he already backed off on it, though. Here's the review of A Long Walk. The Long Walk review. This is from John Nolte. Another disappointing Stephen King adaptation. So there you go. An exclusive video. Country star Lee Brice dedicates new song When the Kingdom Comes to Charlie Kirk. I don't want to see a picture of this country without God in it. Leftists are going to go nuts with this kind of stuff. I mean, a lot of them are very anti-religion. Oh, Robert Davi. Robert Davi honored Charlie by tempering your righteous indignation with truth, courage, and love. See, I agree with him. Good for you, Robert Davi. He sent me a nice, we texted on the X for a little bit. Country singer Gavin Adcock leads massive concert crowd in Charlie Kirk chant. I assume that's the positive one, yeah, because he's a country star. JC, the Emmys didn't even invite them. Do you mean them as in Lily Wachowski or them as in the Wachowski transgenders? George Takei falsely claims Charlie Kirk assassination appears to be right on right violence. Well, can't sue him for that one. But I hear Erica Kirk is looking to sue Stephen King, perhaps. I don't know if that's true. I think it'd be great if she sued him because I think Stephen King already knows he messed up and he took down the tweet. That's practically an admission that he knows it's wrong. So I think he would settle very quickly with Erica Kirk. I would love to see it. JEC, I meant it. Khloe Kardashian attacked by fans for liking Christian tribute to Charlie Kirk. See, this is why you can't get involved with leftists. Because you could try to fool them for a while, and then you hit a wall where you got to say something horrible, and then you find yourself, well, I'm not going to say that. I'm drawing the line there. Oh, no, there are no lines for these fanatical leftists that you've cultivated. And quite frankly, I think that's a problem for Hassan Piker. One day it could be. He's really stirred up too many people, I think. And one day they may very well turn on him when he finally makes a mistake. But he's so rich. I don't know. I think Hassan is probably ready at a moment's notice to just leave the country with a giant bag of money. That's my guess, anyway. Rapper Azalea Banks claims Ernya Zartrutska was a spy/prostitute and murder suspect, was a government hitman. That's pretty bizarre you would say something like that. I'm pretty sure that is so not true. You might even get sued over that. Singer, I'm going to say this wrong, Roisin Murphy says music critics told her to grovel after criticizing puberty blockers for kids or they would lower her album review scores. Wow. That's so wrong. But see, this is the left, right? They believe in stupid things, and they believe they're stupidly important, so much so they're going to ruin your career or threaten to dox you or whatever if you don't say the right thing. I think with Charlie's, murder and the response to it, it's different. It is different. I shouldn't say a little different. It's different. And, it comes dangerously close to stirring the pot against his family, and demonizing people to this point at which they, someone said, they don't call you a bad guy from Germany because you are. something like they don't call you a bad guy from Germany. They don't delete you for being a bad guy from Germany. They call you a bad guy from Germany so they can delete you. So that's the problem. So that to me is why some of the pushback I think is acceptable. But there's a very fine line and it has to be very closely monitored. And I don't think it's being monitored at all. I think a bunch of knuckleheads are just, oh, I'm going to get these guys. And that's probably going to blow up in everybody's face. So you probably shouldn't do it at all. Bill Maher, calling people bad guy from Germany, strongman, is wrong and makes it easier to justify killing. Trump also demonizes people. I don't think so. Insulting people is different from demonizing them. Trump implies a lot of people are stupid. That's not demonizing people. I don't think. I don't think you can name a group of people or specific people he's demonized to the point at which, you know, when he says someone is dangerous, I genuinely think, one, he means it, and two, he's probably right. I mean, when he talks about the fake news and it being dangerous, it is dangerous. It's dangerous to have so many uninformed people in this world. I mean, Charlie Kirk's assassination really proves it. You know, these people think Charlie Kirk was, you know, this horrible human being, and he wasn't anywhere close to that. He maybe quoted the Bible a couple of times, and even then it was pretty moderate. So you're talking about a guy who never hurt anybody and would just debate people, and they got so mad they took him out. It's horrific. Bill Maher, no use for people cheering Kirk death, saying we're at war. Real rift is those who want speech and those who don't. Yeah, ex-boss of mine. I'm glad you're calling it out. He gave a pretty good rant on the subject. That was part of it. Too little, too late. Calls for Charlie Kirk estate defamation suit against Stephen King escalate after apology deleted tweet. Yeah, he may have really screwed up by deleting the tweet, because that's almost like an admission that he screwed up. Now, he did apologize, and one might say, well, he apologized. What are you going to sue him for? But question is does he mean it? Number one. Was he really sorry? Number two. You know, but it's hard to have any sympathy for him, because this isn't the first time he's gone off on a rant about, you know, how terrible people are on the opposite side of the political spectrum. So, and he's not the only one, but he may be the focal point of the lawsuit, because he finally crossed that line. He finally crossed that Rubicon. So, I can't, you know, and he's got money, so it's not like he's going to, you know, he'll probably end up paying it off or buying his way out of it, but, you know, maybe he won't, maybe he'll have one less ivory back scratcher. Who knows? All right. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:05, and I'm just out of headlines. So, time to wrap this puppy up. Is everybody still here? What did we learn today? Well, we learned that a lot of people have big mouths. A lot of people in this country yapping. So people on the left, maybe it's time to shut up. Yeah, for like 20 years. Just shut the F up. Yeah, and stop, and please do us all a favor and don't hide behind free speech. You know, I don't like that DC Comics writer who said nasty things about Charlie Kirk, but at least that person didn't apologize. So, I mean, never explain, never apologize. Um, but yeah, I mean, be who you are, I guess. Terrible people if you want, but expect expect some consequences of your speech, I guess. But again, I don't think it's a good idea to hunt these people down. You're not the verb police or word police or whatever. I get it. It's horrific what they're saying about Charlie on some of these platforms. I do think, though, these private platforms should occasionally do something that's, they need to be consistent with their policies. Like if you have a policy that says, you can't threaten people on our site, well, then nobody should threaten anybody on your site. JC, we learned Selena Gomez is marrying Neanderthal. That's who he looks like, the Geico caveman. He kind of looks like him. It'd be funny if he put him in that commercial. But yeah, I would be extremely careful if you engaged in any kind of the behavior. But I do think government officials should not be spouting off extreme views on any matter, and because they work for us, and we don't want extremists in the government. I think I think that's a sound policy. So that means teachers, teachers are teaching children. If they're saying that certain people should be killed, that's not a value that teachers should be teaching at all in this country. And there was a case in, I guess it was New York. It was in the New York Post that a teacher not only showed the Charlie Kirk assassination video to her class of middle schoolers, I think it was, teaching them that, well, that's okay, he was a bad person. No, you don't do that. But again, I think, MAGA has the high ground here, and we need to keep that as long as possible so you can put forth these policies and go after people who do some real harm. And there are people who are doing real harm out there. There are people saying real threats online. Those people you absolutely should report to the police because that's illegal. This other stuff is bad, certainly, but it's not illegal. It's not illegal to be an a-hole. You could make the argument it's somewhat of a roundabout threat, but it's really tough to make, I would say. JC, you kids want to see a dead body? Yeah, that's kind of the attitude, I guess, of that teacher. But yeah, so I worry that this sort of behavior will spiral out of control very quickly and give people on the left side of politics the ammo they need to, say stuff during the 2026 election. See, they are worse than us. You don't want to give them that. Let's get through 2026. Make sure the Democrats lose bigly, and so they can never come back as a party again. That would be my goal in the next election. I want to see the Democrats lose unexpectedly 10 more seats in the House of Representatives or more, and then 2 more Senate seats, and have the Republicans now have a very comfortable majority. And then keep going. Keep pushing them out of office. I think eventually the Democrats are doomed. I think as a party they are doomed. I think eventually they'll be replaced. I think they'll be so broken, most of them will abandon their own party to try to join the Republicans. A few of them will. And the rest will be independents, and they'll try to form new parties. I think they'll probably even try to go full socialist or democratic socialist. I think you could see the squad members form a 5-person alliance or something. But and then somebody will come along and probably split the Republicans at that point into 2 parties. This is what I've been predicting for years. You'll have the the MAGA Republicans, and then the, you know, the more uni-party Republicans. But in terms of how that impacts Hollywood, you know, as usual, I don't know why any of these celebrities say anything. Lily Wachowski, I guess, is defending another trans person, but yeah, I don't think this is a time to defend that person. It's not. She wasn't targeted for her transness. She was targeted because she said something so horrific. People are actually comic fans. It took them a lot to say something about this. I mean, think about that. Comic fans have put up with a whole raft of wokeness. This is the thing that finally broke them. That finally said, okay, forget it. That DC would have to run and cancel the comic. That's big. So I think the culture is shifting. Hopefully the movies will catch up. And we won't, or unless you guys want to watch anime. Apparently it's all the rage now. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Little Joan was pretty good tonight, I gotta say. She even stayed in the show. All right, I'm going to wrap it here. What's coming up? Oh, next week for me, I will be doing Pine Barrens Maker Fest. This is a big deal if you're in the New Jersey area. I know none of you guys are, but I'll say it anyway. Pine Barrens Maker Fest is in Hamilton, out in the middle of a field near Nesco. And it's going to be fantastic, man. It's going to be 2 days of Piney stuff. I'm going to be doing my Jersey Devil talk probably multiple times per day. And I hope to be selling a lot of books because I bought a lot of books and I would like to sell a lot of books. So, yeah. Will I be doing the live stream on time? That's a good question. I might be late on the live stream. We'll see. We'll see how it winds up at the end. But I should be able to do it. Because it's not going to run late on Sunday. But the girlfriend is helping me out. So I got to treat her to a nice dinner. Hopefully I'll have plenty of money that day. I'll be very flush. And then, yeah. So it should be a good weekend. Good weekend. I'm fingers crossed. Better than this weekend. Yeesh. Anyhow, that's it. I'm out of here. We'll see you in the next one. Oh, vote me up, please. Give me a thumbs up. And we're out.